Hey guys, welcome to episode 213 of 4Player Animecast. I am your host, Spire. It is the 7th of January, 2023. Is everybody here and with us? It is the new year, and we are jumping straight into the winter season. The good thing is, again, we are pretty much at the very beginning of the winter season right now. It's not like the other kind of times where we're like a week ahead or like a week before or whatever. Most of the season started around the 4th of January, so just a couple of days ago. And now we're just kind of getting into it. But, anyways, again, this is 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over on the East Coast of the United States. And I am your host, Spire. And with me are my compatriots, of course, Nier,
Hello.
Toast,
Ah,
and Dark.
Hello.
All right. Well, Happy New Year to everybody. And I guess let's just get right into
wow, it
it.
feels like I haven't seen you guys since last year.
That's
You did
you
that
can't say
last
that.
episode.
We already had an episode on the first.
God,
Well,
I
I
hate
don't remember that, so we're bad.
Toast is just like knocking himself out just so he could tell like like these
Di-
shittier puns over and
Well,
over again.
well, did you know there's one moment in time and during the time zones where it's 3 days overlapping at once or something like that?
Oh yeah, no, I think I've heard about that actually. But yeah.
From who? From Germa?
Anyways, how have your past 2 weeks been? Let's start off with Nier, I guess.
Um, well, I've been doing stuff. Um, the new Shadowverse expansion came out a little while back. And boy was it bad. It was really bad.
Surprise? Surprise.
Yeah, but it's been bad for a while, but this is probably the worst it's been, in recent memory, at least in the last few sets. Spell Boost Rune has a cool, consistent turn 6 OTK with a high roll turn 5 OTK. So that's pretty awesome. And then I think a few days ago, like a handful of days ago, they nerfed that. So yeah. But other than that, not a whole lot. I've been trying to catch up on my backlog for games. I've been playing a lot of East 8.
Okay.
Blast that. Other than that, not a whole lot. Playing
All right.
FIFA
Yeah, pretty
14,
God
Fake Grand
damn it.
Order. Oh, I did roll 2 Muramasas, so that's pretty pog. But yeah, not a whole lot.
All right, pretty good. What about you, Toast? 2 weeks.
It's been 2 weeks? I don't remember.
Or I
Well,
guess past X weeks. I
has
guess
it been
we've been out for an
it's been a
extended.
week, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but we don't
It's
do 2 weeks for the award show, so
yeah.
I don't know.
The past X, weeks.
Uh, there was a Mario Kart tourney. It was pretty cool.
Okay.
Did you see who won? Oh,
No, I did not.
you want to know who won?
Who won?
Both of my ringers won both the Zaku Cup and the Tsuyo Cup. So I won money. So good for me.
Nice.
So I put my money on a Crony or Suisei as champion.
Mhm.
Crony won the Zaku Cup, so I'll take that. And then Suisei won the whole thing, basically because she was the most consistent driver there.
Yeah.
So she won by a landslide because of that. That was cool. I don't know. It's been a week. It's been a week. What do you want me to talk about?
Yeah. Okay. All right.
I, s- I
Well,
saw I saw I saw I saw Trigun Stampede episode 1-ish.
yes.
It sucks. How dare
Damn.
you? How dare you change his ammo type? I'll never forgive that. I was already I was already iffy about like the barrel of his gun looked a little bit smaller than usual.
Mhm.
Not just because of the gun type he changed, but they changed his ammo type. How dare you? He's supposed to use 45 Magnum revolver rounds, long Colt, whatnot. Now he uses 22 LR long rifle. How dare you?
Maybe he'll get a new gun.
It's
I don't know.
it's
It
a
looks like
drastic new changes.
it looks like his standard gun. I bet you it has his special funny core in there too.
Probably.
Yeah. Anyways,
Like,
I guess
they try to make it because it's the most common ammunition around, right? Because back in what Trigun original, Magnum revolver rounds were the most common, right?
Mhm.
How dare you, though? One's a pea shooter, and one's a cool man's weapon. How are you gonna take out a bunch of missiles? Yeah, how you can take out a bunch of missiles with one tiny bullet? You gonna chain reaction a bunch of explosions? The Trigun sucks. I already had problems with his new design. Like animation wise, I don't have any problems with that, but I'm still not feeling his new design. What else? Oh, near Automata. I guess that came out too, right?
Yeah.
Apparently, the opening is definitely a contender for best opening this year, so it's already a shoo-in, I guess. It's a seeded candidate for obvious reasons.
Yeah, I
Right
mean,
near.
it's a little bit harder to.
You seen it right near?
I have not. I
Oh,
haven't.
damn.
I haven't downloaded.
None of you seen it yet?
Nope.
I have
All
not.
I've
Nope.
seen I've seen a couple pictures of some pretty bad CG. But I haven't watched the
Yeah, I
show
mean,
yet.
not-
What define pretty bad CG? Because there's
It's
entire
it's
spectrum.
it's quite bad. It's quite bad.
The
Like
opening
Exxon
is
bad, or like what are we talking
Like
about?
the shaders aren't on bad. Like
the opening itself is kind of
It's
rough.
cash grab. Oh no.
The opening
I'm not
itself is
sure.
kind of rough, but the song
because
itself,
all the 2D
immaculate.
animation we've seen in the previews looks
Mhm.
really good.
I'll,
But
I'll
like
link it. I'll
what
link
I've seen of the CG does not look great. So
Are the 3D? Who are the production companies and like the director behind it? Is it like all split up and then like
I th-
something weird's happening? Is my
I'm
guess,
not
right?
sure. I'm
Here,
pretty
I'll
sure
link
it was
the opening.
A1 main production.
If you can't
Yeah.
tell
No,
me
I'm
who
guessing
this
A1 Productions is working on the 2D part of it,
More than
and they probably
likely.
subcontracted a 3D CGI like specialist, right? Is my guess.
Maybe.
But whatever's going on there, it does not sound like that company is doing their fair share of the work, so to say. So,
I mean, the opening animation itself's cool, I guess, but I don't care about that. I care about the song. The song's pretty cool.
Oh, it's Aimer.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
automatically puts it top
I
top
mean, this
5
this OP
of the
looks
season.
cool too. So
I mean, yeah, I like the aesthetic, but I also
But
like
yeah.
the aesthetic of the. I actually have the opposite reaction to the Trigun. It's Stampede, right?
Yes.
It's Trigun Stampede opening. It looks really cool. I like the aesthetic, but I'm iffy about the song. I don't care. It's not as good as Escalade, because that's
Yeah. Well.
near Automata's opening.
anyways, I guess just a quick recap of the week then. Thank you, Toast, for your or I guess 1 week rather. Sorry,
know.
or yeah, but
Oh
as
yeah, and
for
I
me,
guess the new Tempest boys are debuting right now, and that's about it. Okay.
yeah. Um, I've been pretty quiet. I think the good thing is most of my projects again rolled up pretty or finished up pretty well at the end of the year. So I'm just revving up to the new projects and just getting into that. But in the meanwhile, I enjoyed. I guess this is before the award show, but I did enjoy my Christmas New Year vacation a little bit more relaxed, doing whatever and kind of
What'd you
dipping
get?
into some games that I don't tend to play as much here and there and just like messing around with stuff, but and just, kind of spending some time. I spent I spent an inordinate amount of time on old school RuneScape in the past couple of days
Why?
before. Yeah, that's a good question. Honestly, honestly, good question. I'm asking that myself after spending that much amount of time. But yeah, other than that, I've been pretty relaxed. Haven't done too much. Done a little bit of, I guess, winter cleaning, New Year's cleaning, but nothing much other than that. Yeah, pretty quiet. Catching up on some of the new series coming out. So again, obviously, I'll be talking about one of them. Most of the ones that I've looked at are pretty episodic for right now. None of those stuff I've watched are like the longer plot stuff. But anyways, so that's been pretty much it for me. What about you, Dork? Last week or so, anything new?
Yeah. I I went back and watched what was it? Machikado Mazuko?
Mazuko.
Demon Girl Next Door. That's been a really, really fun run through. Started some new stuff for this season. Watched Trigun. It was really good. Toast's fucking goon. Watched what is it? Onimai?
I'll never
also
get over
really
his
good.
new hairstyle.
Yeah,
Can't
he's a
make me.
zoomer now, okay? Deal with it. Deal with it. He's hot now, okay?
He was hot before, even with his giant needle noggin. Yeah, they try to call him Needle Noggin again, but it's like, where's his spiky hair?
It's still spikes. It's just sideways.
Yeah. He's like
It's-
a Final Fantasy character style spiky hair, you know?
No, you see not Vash, Cloud's hair, freaking along with Mr. Gungaga, that's spiky, and it looks good in the freaking remakes. This one now, no, I I will not believe he's spiky hair.
But yeah, what was I gonna say? So went through those. As far as games, caught up on Genshin. Been playing WoW. Getting back into Tower of Fantasy because Wuthering Waves still has no news. Um, still also waiting on Zenless Zone Zero because I'm a fucking degenerate and
Yeah.
I'm gonna play every single open world like mobile game Genshin type that comes out for some reason. See what else.
The scary thing about that, it kind of looks like, obviously, other gotchas are still plenty
Ah,
worse, but like,
Scary thing is
yeah,
that it's like mental illness. Yeah.
yeah, I mean that too, but also, um, the more I see Genshin players playing the game, the more how they have like the characters in, it's like they have like the multiple levels, and obviously that's standard in like the, you know, any most gotchas these days, right? Um, but like more and more, like you have because there's so many of these like streamers, and like pretty much like everybody's like playing Genshin to some extent, right? So I see so many of these people kind of just like putting all of their money on like getting, the maximum level is like 6 or whatever, right? If I remember correctly. um
You mean constellations?
yeah, the constellations,
Dude,
like
that's
unlocking
but you should not be doing that. Those are like marginal upgrades for the most part, and it's like
So people are just like, I see people on
$2,000 to
stream.
guarantee.
Yeah, I see
that.
people like shoving. They're going like, yeah, I shoved in like, or even like sometimes in other discourse being like, yeah, I shoved in like $800 to get like 2-3 constellations. I'm like, you are
Jesus
insane.
Christ, dude. The only time I only ever did one constellation one time, and it was
Mhm.
because the one character they've really done this for, and it was just like, yeah, she just gets 2 charges of her skill now, and it does more damage. And that character was really fun, so I was like, you know what? This is gonna be the one time I do it. Though,
Yeah.
to be fair, I also didn't buy my rolls for the first set of that. And then I also got lucky with the second set, so you
Yeah.
know.
I think if you get lucky, obviously it doesn't matter. But it's like,
No, I mean
I
it
know
still
some
matters
people
if
who
you're
are
going for
just
C6. Like you have to be like have a legendary luck in order to
be
fucking
under
get
$1,000.
C6 without spending like at least like fucking $1,000.
Yeah. But because it's so mainstream, like I see more and more like these streamers just like doing that shit. I'm just like, God damn it. And like I feel like I almost feel like at this point, some just like complete garbage ass like Nikkei, right? Is like the new hotness or whatever, and that's like
Yeah.
I almost feel
Dude,
like
it's
that's
so
like
good.
I almost feel like
The game
that
sucks,
route.
but the L2D is pretty good.
Yeah, I almost feel like that's almost better to get into than um like the Genshin route, or like not Genshin itself, but it's like going into like the mainstream gacha route, because if people get into like Nikkei or people get into whatever, right? Then they're very obviously like not as incentivized as to put in as much money, right? Because it's obviously just like it's just like shitty, right? But if we start going into like Genshin, if we start giving games like Blue Archive or Heaven Burns Red or whatever, right? Like more legitimacy, I'm just scared that like more and more people will be like, it's okay to put in $300 into a single banner. Like, no, that's not a thing. But I just feel like that sort of mindset is becoming more and more uh prevalent among people, especially after again the Genshin explosion, and that's like scaring me honestly. And I say this as a person again who has played multiple gachas, so
I thought you were gonna say play JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I'd be like, Spire, you finally joined
no,
us. But I guess
it's
you
not.
didn't.
It's not. But yeah, I'm kind of scared. But anyways, anything else, Dark?
Maybe you
Yeah.
should start with the new JoJo coming out, Spire JoJo Lands. I heard
No.
there's a rabbit. You
Oh,
I
like
should I should I
Watership?
should just download that Eminence and Shadow mobile game or whatever the
You
fuck.
like
Yeah.
Watership Down,
oh
Spire?
yeah,
'Cause
dude,
I
for
do.
sure.
That really pisses me off, and I'm going to actually. This is like a spoiler, but later on, I'm probably going to call out Eminence in Shadow because I got like the more I thought about it, the angrier I got about that series. But anyways, Dark, do you wanna finish up your 2 weeks?
Yeah, I want to say that's like roughly it. I just went back, like I said. I do wish that at the time I had watched more of Machikado. I guess that's like my only thing to really
I
say with
mean, it
that,
was
just
a
because
the thing is the
it was good.
Machikoto is like I knew when what it, I kn- I knew about the series when it came out, but I feel like unless you were like going through the Anime News Network, like we go through the Anime News Network list, right, or like the Annulist list, and we see like all the series kind of floating down, right? But like unless you are that type of person, even if even if for those people who are like, yeah, I watch all the niche anime or whatever, it's like I don't think most people caught that to begin with. So I wouldn't blame you for having missed it. And it wasn't like it even blew up within that season at all. It was like a very like small and like kind of like boop kind of series. So
Oh, you like obscure anime?
why don't you start watching the Comic Festa stuff, Dark? The
You
Firefighters Smut
d-
series.
don't talk
Yeah.
to me until you've seen Cat Shit 1.
What the fuck?
Remember
What
Cat
is
Shit
that?
1? It's the rabbit one.
Yeah.
I know I have not heard of. I feel like I've not
It's
heard
like
of it,
this
right?
like it's like this
Look at this.
military like rabbit CG thing. I forget if it was like a short or like a series,
It was a
but
manga.
it made waves a while ago. But
Damn, is this
Oh, okay.
damn, this might be
God.
JoJo Lands too near.
This freaking okay, never mind. Yeah, okay. Yeah, no, I know about this. I never watched it, but yeah, I saw this one. God damn it. All right. Anyways, that was our 2 weeks, and I guess let's just get straight into it. All right. So who's up first? I believe it is Dark. What do you have for us?
Yeah, it is me. I have the other show from this season that I've watched so far, which is Tomo-chan wa Onnanoko,
So this
or
this isn't the
Tomo-chan is a
controversial one.
girl.
The other one is the controversial one.
No,
But
yeah,
anyways,
let-
yeah,
let-
this is the
yeah.
non-controversial. Well, this
let
is
me ask this real-
controversial because it has hitting girls in it.
Let
And
me
five,
let me ask
Surprise,
this
traps.
real quick, Dark. Did you watch this dubbed or subbed?
There's a dub to
bro.
this?
In what?
Oh
in
no!
Simuldub, brother.
fucking
Simuldub.
universe?
Simul dub?
In what
Oh
world
no!
do you think I'm gonna be out here watching this shit fucking like dubbed? Like,
So wow, Dark. I can't believe you're not supporting Sally Amaki then.
You're not supporting the
Yeah,
anime industry,
whatever.
bro. You gotta support Crunchyroll and
you
the people
have-
who do
listen,
simuldubs.
listen, bro. I
You-
already
you have-
supported
you have
Sally
to watch it.
Amaki when she voiced the character for like 10 seconds in Boji, okay?
Yeah.
And also when I was
You
playing
have to watch it
Overwatch.
in English so you can compare her English voice to her Japanese voice.
Yeah,
we've
that's
never
not
heard her-
happening
We
considering,
have to
like,
we have to know how fluent she is in English.
again, Sally Amaki, sure,
Was she
like,
born in
great,
California?
but at the
Yes,
same time,
that's
like,
the joke.
Takahashi Rie,
Yeah.
dude. Like,
Wait,
Come on.
wait, is Takashi Rie doing the main character?
yes.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yes, and it's very good.
Okay, yeah. Yeah,
Um,
it's like in my head, I feel like it should work, but the reason why I was a little bit hesitant was because like for the full like really just like kind of like full on voice Genki kind of boom 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 kind of thing. I feel like she's because her regular tone is a little bit lighter, right? Like she does the tomboyish thing, but her register is lighter, right? It's not like a Ayane Sakura where they can kind of or like Aoyuki, right? Where they can kind of they have a higher voice, but they can boot it down, right? So I do think yeah, in my head it should work, but it's definitely interesting. I haven't I haven't watched it yet though. So okay. Uh, you want to give us a quick summary? I've watched,
yeah,
I've read the
so
manga. Has everybody here read the manga or no?
Ended, so yes, I've read it.
Okay, Nier, what about you? I think have you read
For-
it or watched it?
For this?
Yeah,
No.
yeah, yeah.
No.
Okay.
Dang, Nier,
So
you
yeah,
don't like tomboys?
I thought you were about to ask, do you not like women?
Whoa,
I mean,
That's
I
you,
don't
that's you,
know. I
bro.
can't say
That's you.
anymore.
Hey man, Nier likes women.
I'm an
You're
ally.
like
No,
Saber,
you're not
apparently.
gonna you're not gonna beat the allegations, buddy.
Yeah,
I don't know.
gotta hide my Unite Up rerun watching.
I don't know,
Good stuff.
Spire. Nier has specifically said he likes Saber, while you have yet to say which women you like in anime.
In anime?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't.
You know what?
See?
If you like
If you
women so
don't-
much, why don't you name all of them?
Yeah, why don't you
Name
why don't you
every
like
woman.
anime women if you don't like women? if you like women, but yeah,
Name the top woman of 2022.
top woman. For a second, I really wanted to say like that the new prime minister of Italy or whatever it was or whatever she was. Like I
Oh,
really wanted to
the
say that for a
literal
second.
fascist, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. The literal Mussolini supporter or whatever. Anyways,
If you
um,
didn't know, here, look up this list. Then come back to me.
which list? What? Oh, this is
The
okay,
100
never mind.
world's most powerful women.
Yeah. I saw this. I actually was reading a little of this a couple of days ago. But anyways,
True.
that is neither here nor there. I was surprised that the Tomo-chan thing, but definitely an interesting choice. I think it does work, and on paper, Toast and I have read it. Toast, have you watched episode 1 so far?
No, because I'm waiting for the English dub.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I have not watched it. I'll probably be watching it
Because
shortly.
I have
read
to
it as well.
support Sally Amaki. You know, how else is she gonna? I mean,
Yeah,
if you don't-
how she's got to earn the bucks, bro,
If you
from
don't support her
Crunchyroll,
English
yeah.
roles, yeah, how's she gonna host the next Crunchyroll Awards
How's
next
she
year,
gonna-
right?
Oh my god,
Hosting the
dude.
Crunchyroll Awards.
Yeah, truly the highest honor. I would rather she stayed away from that.
It's like that one woman who had that like super like weird like feathery dress who was like hosting the Game Awards, and everybody was just like, "Who is this person? Where's the Doritos Pope?" or whatever it was. Yeah.
I mean, I hope she'll be okay because she has social anxiety.
Yeah, she does. But anyways, Dark. Brief summary, please, of the series.
Yeah, so I'll take this right from Mal, but Tomo Aizawa and Junichiro Jun Kubota are the tightest bros you would ever see. They roughhouse and spar, but through thick and thin, they've got each other's back. Yet there's one small problem. Tomo is in love with Jun. Since she was young, tomboyish Tomo has been just another one of the guys, And due to his extreme muscle brain nature, June does not notice any of her advances. Not even when she explicitly confesses. To add insult to injury, for the longest time, he did not even realize that she was a girl. Will Tomo ever be able to catch June's eye and escape the infamous bro zone? Very infamous fact. Very notable, very infamous. Happens all the time. True tragedy. But yeah, so this series is pretty fun. It's interesting because it's like even that description didn't really do it justice in a sense. Like it didn't really capture what the essentially what the series like really is.
Uh-huh.
Because the series is way more so of like, how should I put this? It's not like really like, oh, will they, won't they? Like at least like I haven't read it, but it seems very much like they will, but how long is it going to take to get there?
Yeah, I mean that's
and also it's not that like already in episode 1, it's not that like June is literally like too stupid to
okay, yeah.
to see her like as a girl. Like that's
Mhm.
not the case at all. Like it seems way more so one of those scenarios that they're going to do where it's like, you know, he's unsure or like nervous of like ruining a friendship or something,
Yeah.
or
Which
like
is like an
change,
actual
or
thing
essentially a
that like people
change in a
worry about.
relationship
Yeah.
between them, more so than it is the other way. And it seems more so that Tomo's interpretation of that is the idea that he doesn't even see her as a girl.
Yeah.
Um
And I think that sort of like approach is definitely a little bit more natural than the whole like, what? You like me? Like kind of thing, you know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's been, like I said, it's been I feel like that definitely has made it a little bit more interesting in that regard. Um just because it's like um it's not like the same sort of that same sort of feel you get from the usual like what do I want to say? Not will they, won't they? The usual like this sort of scenario with, I guess, like a will they, won't they?
Yeah. I mean,
Because it's a lot
this
more
is like
clear as to like what's going on, more
Mhm.
so, and like there's sort of like a misinterpretation, but it's not like that broad. There are a
Mhm.
couple of characters, like the supporting cast is like pushing them more and more too, like way faster than you would normally expect, and is
Mhm.
way more on board and like aware. I would compare some of the supporting cast too to almost like the Uzaki supporting cast, but probably like to say a little bit more what would you say, on a little bit more like on the ball in a way, a little bit more
More,
forceful.
yeah. A little bit more like aware of the like not like aware of the coupling, but it's like they take less of an observer role and more of a kind of natural like, oh, you should do this or whatever role kind of. Because Uzaki, I think the supporting cast in Uzaki-chan are pretty much the reason why they're set up is to for them to react to the relationship, right? It's pretty much all none of them do anything. All of them kind of are observers and they all react in different ways. And them reacting in different ways gives part of that value to watching the series, right? Because like one person will go like, "Oh man, oh it's good to see these two young guns just like become enamored with each other, like make a good couple," and then or like the friend or the mother will be like, "Oh no, blah 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 blah," or like they'll like have these different reactions, and that's part of um why you will sort of watch Uzaki-chan, right? Or why some people watch Uzaki-chan, but with this, the supporting cast is definitely kind of doing a little bit more to actually push the story beyond just observing and reacting. So,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah,
I
they're
I think it's
definitely taking a more active role in that regard.
Mhm.
But I would say, I think the other thing is that it's more so to me that I guess sort of their interactions too are a little bit more, natural in a way, a little bit less. It's a little bit less like fully comedic in that sense too.
A little bit less
If that
fully
makes any
comedic,
sense.
not more
Yeah,
fully comedic.
it's
Okay,
yeah, it's a
wait, you
little
want
bit
to
less. It's a little
clarify?
bit more subdued with how a lot of
Oh,
the
okay, okay,
supporting
okay,
cast
okay,
like
okay.
approaches these situations and like approaches
Like
talking to them
again, like
about it.
Uzaki-chan, like kind of
Well,
observation
Uzaki-chan,
and reaction.
I feel like Uzaki-chan is a little bit more like, what would you say? Not all over the place. It is a little bit more extreme in some senses.
Yeah,
In
I
that
was
regard,
contrasting
like
it
they
where
are
it's
kind of
like
like,
people, those supporting characters are more extreme than what you're describing in Tomo-chan, right? Because in
yeah,
Tomo-chan, it's like they're a little bit more like they're not like bouncing off the roof in order to create that sort of back and forth, like, oh, you did that? Oh, you guys are, oh, what's happening? Kind of that sort of like extreme reaction for the
yeah.
anime. Yeah. Um, so I just wanted to go back to sort of what you were talking about with the will they won't they, and I do think that this is like a variant, obviously, of like because you were like, oh, I mean, it's not really a will they won't they, it's more like a they will, but it's like how long, which in my opinion it is sort of like a variant on the will they won't they, but it's like because a lot of like
Yeah,
shoujo
in a
series
way.
have that, right, where it's like the main couple is set up there, it's just like is it going to take 50 chapters or is it going to take 244 chapters, right? But I think
Yeah.
one of the more important thing is sort of integrating this idea that you just stated about the will they won't they with the idea that you just stated before about the supporting cast being organic, and I think that also counts for the main characters as well, because when you have these sorts of characters being a little bit more subtle, right, and kind of being like, oh, okay, like this is the thing that's happening, or like this we could be in a relationship, or like whatever, kind of thinking about that instead of being like, me in love with that guy? No way. Like, oh, I'm blushing. There's no way I could possibly be in a relationship with that. That sort of like very standard
Yeah.
start to the will they won't they. And on top of that, on top of that sort of like bouncing off of each other that happens for like, 70 chapters or 120 chapters or 550 chapters or how many chapters it is. I think there's another part of it where it's like a lot of these shoujo series, and not even the shoujo series, plenty of other series, something like, maybe a good example might be something like Masamune Kun's Revenge, right? Um,
Yeah.
they have they set up the love triangle very purposefully, right? So it's like, oh, you're not gonna do it, you're not gonna get along. All right, here's a new girl or here's a new guy, right? And then that sort of like very like obvious, purposeful, like, oh, like there's this other guy that might be tempting me, and then they have all that drama, right? But I think Tomo-chan doesn't really have any of that, and I think that's more natural because in most like relationships, like when you're struggling with these sorts of things and when you're coming together, and in most contexts, right, it's not really a love triangle. It's not really a love triangle. So I do think that's definitely overall a better way to do things, although that obviously doesn't mean that love triangles don't exist. That's not what I'm saying, but I do think that this is more natural. This is more like the norm, right? Um,
Yeah.
than the standard version. Yeah. What did you think about the audio visuals?
So the audio visuals are pretty serviceable, like this is from Leduce.
Who's doing? Oh, ladies. Okay.
Yeah, so they're not
Okay.
like, it's not like there's some of it that's like good, there's some of it that's just like fine, like, right? There's
Uh-huh.
nothing that's like bad. There's nothing that's
Yeah.
like stand out to be like awful. But
Hmm.
there's nothing that's also like kind of super amazing. The more comedic
Mm.
stuff is like kind of fun. They do a little light adjustments, but there's nothing like super crazy between like art style switches either.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, it seems much more standard as an adapt. I guess the other thing to comment with the characters, though, I guess I should say too, is that not a lot of the supporting cast is there. Um,
What do you mean by that?
But oh no, hold on, I got sidetracked because I just realized too that Seliamaki is playing the blonde-haired girl in the Japanese dub, like in the
Yes.
Japanese voices.
Yes.
So
As
what-
Toast
so
said,
wait, Toast,
she's
what were
doing
you
the
talking- she's
Japanese
doing
and the
both?
English voice for both. Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, she's
okay. So
both.
I will check that out then.
That's
'Cause
why
this
I
My-
was
is
my-
asking
my-
if you're
she's
gonna
not
watch
in the
English
show
dub.
yet. She's not in the show.
My
That's why I
my
didn't
guess
realize.
is that the main production hired her as a Japanese voice, and then probably Crunchyroll or whoever's
Crunchyroll was
localizing
like,
or whatever.
Hey,
Yeah, they
yeah, it was like,
Here's
oh,
stuff for
they're
free.
already doing
Yeah.
this character.
and also
Um,
you know it creates some like news headlines for them essentially.
Yeah.
So that yeah.
Which is always nice and always something that I feel like
Oh,
would
Sally
be
on
cool
hockey.
to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's cool to see, especially that sort of gimmick, considering that is the opposite of what happened with Overwatch that I wanted to happen. So
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
but
But
yeah, so that I thought that I think is kind of cool. But what I was going to say more so about the supporting cast was that I feel like so far from what we're seeing from the supporting cast is like, I don't want to say like more, it's a weird tone that bounces back and forth between like the three main friends, with the third girl, like Mizusu Gundo.
Mhm.
She is like a very like cool-headed, like, but manipulative character.
Mhm.
They describe her in a flashback scene as like when they were all kids and they would pull like, whether it be pranks or get into trouble, she would always be the one that just miraculously goes missing right before they get yelled at.
Right.
And she is still like, she's like a very more like emotionally subdued character, but the way she pulls strings is kind of interesting. Like she's pretty forceful with it, and she also it's like, it's weird because I haven't seen like, she's not particularly like a masochistic character or like a sort of like, I want to say like mean-spirited in a way.
Mhm.
But she's very like, with some of the ways she messes with them is like to set them up is like pretty harsh with some of the shit she says. But I kind of enjoy seeing that because I do think that overall, between the way her character is functioning and so far of like what has happened in episode 1, I feel like there's a chance that this, at least for this anime season 2, it's also going to go somewhere. Like we're going to get progression, which
I think also ultimately like it's good that the characters have an organic base because ultimately they are supposed to be realistic characters within literature. But I think part of the whole like then kind of just being harsh or kind of the other girl Carol or whatever, right, the blonde girl, they kind of just like drifting off or whatever, right, and all these things are kind of not, I don't want to say byproducts, but they are natural symptoms and consequences of this being a sort of yonkoma, or of this being a sort of X coma, like a short manga series, right? That's based off kind of like it's supposed to be sort of based off quicker, like smaller gags, right? So that means that a lot of these characters are kind of based off quips. Obviously, the main characters get way more screen time and they have more development capabilities. But a lot of these supporting characters also kind of like just have to be on screen time, say their shtick, and kind of be gone, right? Or like they have to make it land. So I think that's part of also what you're seeing from these interactions as well, just like the natural structure of how the original material came about. And that might be kind of affecting some of how they're talking or doing whatever, in my opinion.
yeah, I mean that kind of does pretty much nail it. And yeah, I've really enjoyed it. I think that it's a much more standout in a way series because of that and because of how they interact with each other. I think especially if you enjoy like a sort of will they won't they type series, you would definitely enjoy this just because of the fact that kind of again you can kind of guess that like they will, but
Mhm.
so you don't have that like nagging shit at the back of your mind.
But who's your favorite character?
Tomo, obviously.
Yeah, Tomo by a couple of miles. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I
who's your
mean,
favorite character, Spire?
Tomo, of
Really?
course. Yeah.
I don't believe you.
Oh, okay. Wait, who did you think my favorite character would be?
You know who my favorite character is?
Who?
Sally Amaki.
That's
that
not
is
a character
not
in
a
the series,
character. All
Toast.
right.
That is not what I
I
asked.
don't even remember that chick's name, but all I know is she's voiced
Carol.
by Sally. Yeah,
Yes.
and Carol.
Anyways.
But yeah, I guess
So,
other than that, audio visuals fine. Like I said, OPD fine. And yeah, the pacing is solid. So really no complaints.
okay. So I guess pretty good. Any last words? Anything that you want to wrap it up with or no?
No, I think just in general,
What's your mall score?
my mall score would probably be like an 8. I guess if I was to give it like a true mall score or something. I don't really even know how to.
You're not gonna give it a 6 like that one guy.
Yeah.
It's like six,
Yeah, 6
six,
everything
both
actually.
the
You know
worst thing
what?
and the best thing I've watched.
It's so good. It's actually, you know what? It's good, also garbage at the same time
Yeah,
when you think about it.
it's a legend that changed my life. 6. But yeah, anyways, this is what it is. Tomo-chan is a girl. Tomo-chan wa Onnanoko, and it is done by It is headed by Leidus Productions, who did previously Hero in Tarumono, and I believe Gunjuno Fanfare of Adolescence, that like horse riding whatever thing was, horse riding boy idols. I believe Takahashi Rie is doing the main character again at
Yes.
the Aizawa
And
Tomo of Tomo.
Kaito Ishikawa is
Yes,
doing
that is a
the main
pretty
lead.
like solid. Like if you were gonna close your eyes and just like be like, or like if you were gonna do like lightning round, right? And you're like, okay, these two characters, quick, like just think of two voice actors that would be suitable to voice these. These two will be like pretty close to the top.
Amelie and Sally Amaki. Paired.
I think you need one boy and one girl for this. Toast.
Who's the guy that voices Archer in Unlimited Blade Works?
This is it.
What's his name? What's his name? Kaiji Tang. There you go. Perfect.
Okay. Well, that's probably not a bad choice either. But yeah, um, yeah, they're pretty like for these sorts of roles, pretty like classic choices for the top of the list. But yeah. Anyways, if you do like sort of yonkoma adaptations, or I believe it is yonkoma adaptation, or like short manga adaptations, of like this, kind of a
Wait,
small rom-com.
Oh, even
They
better. It's a web manga.
Yeah, it's a web manga. I forget
it's
like
a
how many
one.
panels it is.
It's a one-page.
Yeah,
Chapter.
okay. Ichikoma. If you do like shorter manga, web manga, like Ichikoma kind of stuff, if you do like the rom-com kind of more organic, will they, won't they? Please do check this out.
But Spire, who would win in a fight?
Who between
What?
between who would in a fight between?
Did you think I was gonna say Amelie and Sally Amaki? Because I,
No,
I
I
will
have.
now.
I don't think that was the exact Thunderdome matchup I was expecting, but
But yeah, my actual question was who would win in a fight, Tomo-chan or Shikimori? Because Shikimori is also a one-page
Isn't
manga.
Shikimori pretty high spec? Like she does like actual things. Like Tomo-chan is like tomboyish, but like Shikimori like actually like it's supposed to be
Hey
like
man,
super high spec, right?
Tomo-chan's dad owns a dojo.
Oh, that
You
is
forget that?
true. Yeah, that is
So
true.
who'd win?
I would probably still put my money on Shikimori, but yeah.
All
Yeah, I
right.
think that's how it works lore wise, but I don't know. But anyways,
So that's your type, huh?
yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say Shikimori is my type. I
You
wouldn't say
you don't
Shikimori
like
is.
pink-haired girls, Spire? I know who you're. You like a lot of pink-haired girls. Yogasaki Mika, Momo. That's all I got.
Yeah, but like yeah, that's all. You're like a lot of them. Here are two, exactly two. I don't know. I mean, the thing is, I do like both Jogo Sakimika and I do like Momo, but it's like their place within the group is very special. Although that sounds weird in the case of Mika, but it doesn't sound weird in the case of Momo and Tola Fruit. But um, I like their personalities, okay? I know it sounds like an excuse, but it's for their personalities. Anyways, that was Tomo-chan. And I guess the next on the list here, I guess I'll go next. And I am covering Koori Zokusei Danshi to Cool na Douryou Joshi. The ice guy and his cool female colleague. And this is
The
a
ice guy. That's a good. That's good. That's good.
The Ice Dude. Yeah, exactly. And this is a series done by collaboration between Zero G and Liber. I believe Liber is not, this is their first of like two series, and they're probably working a little bit more on the production side because the last series that they did, the first series that they really worked on was doing production advancement for that like one science series, whatever it was called. Science Fell in Love, so I tried to prove it. I believe season 2. So I believe Zero G is actually taking most of the work, and they've done a lot of smaller series before, like Farming Life in Another World, a couple of small isekais like that. Grand Blue Dreaming is that second season of Grand Blue, I think. Garandol, they did some small Idolmaster stuff, like very like side spin-off kind of like chibi kind of things, some other small things. So they've helped out with a couple of those. Uh, and this is, I think, headed by a director in Monkyu and Kano Miyako, who are two like kind of directors who have worked with Zero G for at least a few years, I think. But they are kind of backed up by two pretty heavy hitter veterans in assistant director Ushijima Yuji, as well as series composition and script writer Komparu Tomoko, right? So these two are pretty much big veterans, and I think the series really kind of does show its like stability in how those two I think kind of affected the direction, right? So, anyways, a little bit of summary here. Himuro, who is the titular ice guy, right? The the Yuki instead of Yuki Onna, I guess it would be Yuki Otoko, right? Yuki Onna being sort of the uh, fabled snow creature, right? Not like a yeti, but it's like in Japanese mythological lore. If you go around like in the mountains or like in springs or whatever in the wilderness, you can find a woman who is sort of who can summon snow, who is cold to the touch, sort of like a cold like ice kind of ghost kind of creature, and she's usually kind of like in the wilderness alone and stuff like that. So it's kind of like the Japanese version of the Yeti in a sense, but obviously much prettier and a girl. So this is that, but with a guy. And so he, the titular ice guy, is an office worker who belongs to a race of supernatural beings with strange powers. Whenever he is deep in concentration, he subconsciously plunges his poor coworkers into close rendition of the Arctic. Even so, contrary to his icy powers, Himuro is a warm and kind person. He likes flowers and cats, but alas, he cannot get too close to either. Himuro has a soft spot for his colleague Fuyutsuki, a calm woman who has a knack for providing simple solutions to his unconventional problems. So that's the brown hair girl next to him. Whenever Fuyutsuki does something for him, a snowstorm of emotions builds inside Himuro's heart, and he fails to notice the raging snowstorm he causes on the office floor. Thanks to his snowy tantrums, Himuro's feelings are apparent to everyone but Fuyutsuki. However, fueled by immense adoration and desire, Himuro is prepared to do whatever it takes to capture her heart. So this is a very standard, like, call and response, more like the base is romance, but I think there's not that much development, at least from what I could see in the first episode. I would have to read the manga to get a better sense of it, but it's definitely more heavily focused on the comedy part of the rom-com, right? So the guy is just like, oh, I'm in love with this girl, this office worker, this coworker at my office, who's just like so kind to me, even though I do like weird stuff, and I freeze up or whatever it is, right? And I want to get close to cats, but I can't. And she just gives me these like little trinkets and stuff to kind of help reassure me. And I want to get close to her. Um, so whenever Futsuki gives Himuro, the ice guy, some like solution or souvenir or trinket or whatever, being like, oh, maybe you can use this. He's just like, oh man, she's so cute, she's so nice, stuff like that. And that's just like the back and forth that happens over and over again. And that's sort of the core of the series. And then on top of that, you have sort of the supporting cast, um, who are often also mythical creatures. For instance, I believe one of them, Komori-san, I believe. Komori-san is a descendant of a Japanese fox spirit or yoko, right? So she'll have like her ears and the tail pop up, and she'll do the usual thing where it's like when she's excited, the tail will like be really active or the ears will be really active or whatever it is. So you'll have a lot of these things kind of popping up, but the supporting cast is kind of there for fun. A little bit of the smaller like side couple kind of business, right? But most of the back and forth call and response, most of the value, quote unquote, of the series is in the whole like Futsuki giving, Himuro, the ice guy, some advice, and Himuro being like, "Oh man, thank you so much," stuff like that, and also the rest of the office kind of not making fun, but making comedic observations on the fact that Himuro does ice guy stuff, such as when he's like not in a good mood, he kind of retracts into an igloo. He kind of creates like a self igloo around himself, and he kind of retracts back into it, and so a lot of the humor is kind of like that, and there's not really too much of it. I'm gonna guess, I haven't read the manga. I'm gonna guess it's gonna be extremely episodic. It's gonna have very little development per episode, if any development per episode. And for people who like this sort of thing, it's fine. I think it's okay for what it is. I just think it's like a cute little thing. I'm not sure if I will watch, all 12 episodes of it. But I do think, if you came in here to watch something like this, it's nice. Some special things I noticed about the audiovisuals are also it's fine, I think, for what it is. There's not like that many frames to go around, but it's also like just people at an office talking. So they didn't really, you can't really like when they're like talking, you're not really like, damn, there's not enough animation in here. It's not like that. So a lot of them are more kind of like static scenes. Uh, a funny thing I noticed was that Himuro, again, the ice guy, is Kansai, and he speaks in Kansai Ben, right, which is sort of like the West Japan dialect, and it's like the meme currently on the internet is that the closest thing to like something like Kansai Ben is just uh it's like Southern accent, right? I believe is sort of or the U.S. American Southern accent. I believe that is the closest thing that the internet has sort of connected to usually.
You mean the
Although,
Texas accent?
yeah. Although I do think that does feed into like a stereotype at times. Um, but and I think the sort of frequencies are slightly off. But anyways, uh, Himeno does speak in a decent amount of Kansai Ben in his internal monologues. I think when he speaks regularly, he's kind of like he kind of tries to speak like a Tokyoite, which is what it is. What does happen in real life from time to time with people. But when he does speak in or when he does think in his inner monologue in Kansai Ben, he'll say stuff like um akan or yade or whatever, all these standard like Kansai Ben fillers, right? Fillings or variants. And another funny thing I kind of found was that usually, so in these Anime News Network postings of anime series, right, you have, who are the voice actors, or who is the director of photography, chief animation director, who does the music, stuff like that, right? There's one special entry in this series that I have literally not seen in any other Anime News Network list, and I believe it is dialect direction. Uh, I'm kind of interested in seeing what's going to happen down the series anime wise, just for that alone, because I feel like right now Himuro is pretty like I think the lines are I think the lines he's saying are laying it on a little bit thick in terms of Kansai Ben, like using a lot of that, like, you know, a lot of the Kansai Ben kind of lingo. But I'm not sure where they're bringing in the dialect direction for right now. So I am actually pretty interested in watching the series, not because I'm like super interested in this sort of anime, although I'm fine with it. I just again would not necessarily watch 12 episodes of it straight up, but I want to see where the dialect director kicks in with this sort of stuff. So pretty interested in watching this to check that out. But other than that, I don't really have too much.
So
It's a yeah.
why don't they speak Ainu?
I I don't
Why
think
not?
I think I knew is a little bit just because they're the guys associated with cold. I don't think it's not like an I knew thing. It's
What's
not
that?
like
What's that dude? Who's that dude from Shaman King? Did he speak Ainu?
oh the
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah
yeah.
yeah.
Those are also Ainu.
Oh, I
Why?
forget. I feel like you
You,
might
you
be
know who
right.
I'm talking about, right? Yeah, the
Yes.
Usui.
Yeah,
I
he
guess
is
that's
part
his
of the
name.
Ainu tribe. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. Yeah, good
Did
stuff.
he speak Ainu in Shaman King? I don't remember.
I don't think so. I think
Wow.
Shaman King was that sort of thing where it's like they had all these like they had these backgrounds, right? But it's like they didn't really focus on them. And for some characters, like that was a good thing, right? Like Chocolove, you don't really want to.
And Choco Love is my favorite, almost racist character.
But yeah, I mean, I think Chocolove McDaniel or whatever it was. But yeah, I
Really?
think that is literally
Near
his
who?
name or
Near who's the
McDonald.
dude from Steel Ballroom? The dude who won.
Don't remember.
Not Weka Pipo. That's the Indian guy. Uh, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Poco Loco.
Yes. Yes.
His stand is
But
OP, dude.
But yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, no, it's not I knew. But also one last thing wanted to mention before I close up. The opening is like it's not bad, but it's like not that
Is it top?
standout.
Is it top? How? What's the rank? Top 10? Is it top 10
The opening?
of this season?
No, I have to listen to some others, but I probably wouldn't say it's not. It's like not bad, but it's just like okay, whatever. It's like it's kind of something that fits this series. It's quiet, it's nice, it's fine. Um, but what I really wanted to hear was there was this when there was a trailer of this in Japan, and it had a PV song called "Joyride" by Sakuma Takao, and Sakuma Takao actually did a bunch of openings for like Ultraman Trigger and stuff like that. So I honestly want to listen to that and not really this. I think the PV song is like way cooler than the whatever this opening is. But anyways, I'm waiting for that, but apparently it's not releasing until like February, like mid February or something like that. So that kind of sucks, but you know, I can wait. But yeah, anyways, that was, I think, my series. Again, this is Koori Zokusei Danshi to Cool na Douryou Joshi. the Ice Guy and his cool female colleague. It is again done by Zero G Library Collaboration. I think Zero G is probably taking most of the work here. If you kind of want a very, very episodic series that's very standard, like call and response, has some fun little, elements to it, some fun little themes to it. The sort of ice guy, the fox spirit girl, the them getting together and just doing weird stuff, you know, or the ice guy and like the coworker getting together and doing some, funny stuff. Then please do check this out. All right. Guys, next on the list we have host. What do you have for us today?
I don't know.
Just it's over? It's done?
What?
Well, what's your series, Toast?
My series was out of left field because all the good stuff will not show up until tomorrow. Was
Yeah.
Technoroid Overmind.
Yes.
Did
I
you
believe
know
this is actually a Dogokobo series.
this is
Wow.
the
Okay.
Douryou series? Right after their third, it's just their third music series. What else did they do?
Is it their third music series? I know
Yes.
they've like reached that before,
Selection
but
Project, Selection Project, and something else.
you're right. They did do Selection Project. Um, yeah, I
Visual
don't know. What?
Was Visual Prison an idle thing,
Visual.
right?
Did they? They didn't do that one, did they?
Yes. There's also Dogokobo, was it?
Wait, which series?
Uh, Visual Prison? Wasn't that the vampire Visual K thing?
No, that was definitely not Dogokobo. I think Dark covered that one, but yeah, that was not Dogokobo. yeah,
Oh yeah. I don't know. I only remember Selection Project. That was
yeah, Selection Project definitely was a music series. But
Selection
anyway,
Project. Was Selection Project the one that I really liked with the?
you did like it. I think I said I think I
Yes, yes,
thought
yes. Selection Project
yeah.
was the good one. Okay.
I also watched a little bit of that, and I wasn't too down on it. I think it was okay for what it was. It was yeah. I think I also gave it a relatively positive review
Is
on that as well.
Yuri a music series?
Goody Yuri is not a music series, friend.
What
I
about
think
Luck? What about Luck and Logic? I'm going down
Luck
the
and Logic
list
is also not a. Now you're gonna start asking like, is Gabriel Dropout a music series? Like, what's happening here?
because
But
this. I'm very sure this is the third, but I don't remember the other one. Oh well, whatever.
uh, anyways,
So yeah.
you want to
So
go a summary
you,
of
you
Technoroid Overmind?
you like global warming?
I wouldn't say that I do. No. What's going
What?
on?
Why not?
Well,
Did you know in the far off future of I don't
of
know
of
the
the Earth?
future? I
Yes,
guess
yes.
because there's what is it? Global warming and the ice caps have melted and whatnot.
hmm
So humans have been, I think, relegated to dome cities again
Okay.
because climate change and whatnot. So people are staying indoors and they have nothing to do. So they built the Tower of Babel, which is an entertainment thing center, I guess. And whoever joins the Tower of Babel, you got to fight your way to the top.
Uh-huh.
And you start off with you start off in the lower levels, and then you have to appeal to the audience, aka the people watching on their VR headsets. So
Oh, okay,
they're
okay, okay.
basically VTubers
Yeah.
because you're watching them in virtual reality heads. Or maybe Cinderella Live. You know what that is?
No, I do
You
not.
know when HoloLive does their Cinderella Live thing, and you put on your VR headset and you can interact with the streamers, that kind of thing.
Oh, is it like so it's like VR chat live, but like they're doing like a live concert
Sure,
kind of thing?
yeah, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, you gotta win the audience votes in order to progress to the top of the Tower of the Babel.
Okay.
Where I don't know.
So is this
I
like
guess it's a monetary reward thing. This is based off a game.
yeah. This is a multimedia project, as Toast stated. I believe Cyber Agent themselves are actually. So for those of you who don't know, Cyber Agent is like a couple. So people know about stuff like uh side games, right? And like a lot of these other like smaller like mobile game companies or like game companies, I guess in general. So what you guys might not know is that a couple levels above side games is uh, a company called Cyber Agent. So Cyber Agent is a game developer, but they also, I believe, is an overall umbrella company that encompasses side games, Abema TV, stuff like that. So um, they're working in conjunction with AVX Pictures as well as Almon's Garden, a very famous Japanese group, music group. So they combined together to create a multimedia project. It'll have the usual mobile game. It'll have the music. It'll have like the YouTube's content. It'll have like the anime stuff like that. So it's a standard kind of thing, but obviously centered around being the number one top tower singer or whatever it is.
Yeah,
So,
because all the humans can't survive apparently they can't survive the outdoors because
oh shit. Okay.
all the cities are being flooded and global warming, so the sun's too hot. So they
Okay.
built androids to
Okay.
do
Okay.
all the human chores for them.
Okay.
So our story starts is the four main androids, Cobalt, the blue one,
Mhm.
Neon, the I think pink. You want to call that pink? Magenta haired one, K, the green one, and Crom, the purple one. So their names are weird, but they're definitely better than the antagonist names, which I'll well, not the antagonist, more like the top of the Tower of Babel rivals, as we'll put them. So let me show you where they. So yeah, you
Can
got
I ask
Cope.
something? Is Neon a dude? Neon's the dude,
Yes.
right? Okay.
Why do you need to ask? This is an
Okay.
all dudes show.
Because the profile picture for Neon looked like a girl for some
Are
reason.
you
Okay.
so? Are you saying the dude they call Princess in Bullock is a chick? Don't say that. But yeah, and then here's your antagonist group. You like their names? I like their names. Light, Night, and Kite. I can't tell.
What the heck is okay?
Yeah,
The anime's audio visuals look a little bit more scuffed than what kind of the poster art and everything else kind of might indicate. But okay,
but yeah.
is most
So
of the 2D like this or what?
I guess. I mean, it's fine. I don't know.
Yeah.
All I have, I'll talk about it later. But yeah, so these four android dudes wake up, I guess, from cryo sleep, kind of like how Mega Man X did, because there's a
Okay.
flashback of some old dude working on them, and then I guess the old dude dies,
Mhm.
and then it's like, oh, they wake up, cryo sleep, and now they're independent and whatnot. So, but they gotta pay their electric bill somehow.
Right.
So that's why they're joining Tower of Babel, so they can earn money to pay their electric bill. Then they come across I guess, the main character, which is the little Shota dude named Esora Shibaura. And I had to look
Mhm.
this up because I was like, what the heck is this? Why is this guy's name so weird? But apparently, this anime takes place 10 years before the events of the actual game.
Oh, it's like a weird prequel?
It is because
Are
later on,
you're not playing this guy in the game?
no, because in the main
What?
game, you play as the protege of the main character in the anime. So like it's
Oh.
10 years later, so the little dude grows up to be your protagonist character's protege.
That's kind of
And
cool, actually. I'm not gonna
is it
lie.
though? Because it kind of gets convoluted when you think about
Oh,
it.
okay, that kind of. Oh, well, I mean, if it gets convoluted beyond like the
No,
whole like
I don't
beginning
know more.
setup and stuff.
I only looked up the dude's name and like how apparently that he's the he's your mentor if you when you're the protagonist. But
Yeah.
if you think about it, so the four main robots wake up from cryo sleep, right? The first
Yes.
time, and then they're bumbling around. They're like, "Oh, we're gonna get to the top of the Tower of Babel to do something." But it's
Okay.
like, and then 10 years later, somehow they're back in cryo sleep for the protagonists of the mobile game to wake them up, and they have no memories. Man, that's kind of
So is this like a some sort of is this some sort of like Tekken like yearly tournament thing going on, or like
I don't
what is it?
know. Because apparently in the game they're like they have to start from the bottom again, and
Yeah.
but the main rivals, the villains, the villain group that I showed you guys, Light, Knight, and Kite, they're still active and they're still at the top.
Oh,
So it's
so
like,
it's just like the good guys that got all the way to the bottom, or like went all the way back down to the bottom.
I guess, but apparently no one remembers them because they got to start from the bottom. They're like,
Okay.
oh, I don't remember these. My memory's not 10 years. Doesn't last up to 10 years, so I don't remember these dudes. But the main
So do
character,
they kind of treat it like does the game treat its like sort of the struggle and the objectives kind of like how like male like maybe something you see in Hypnosis Mike or Ensemble Stars kind of like a male idol like competition kind of thing, or do they like is the lore more serious where they're like if you don't win this we'll literally die like
I don't know.
is it like
No,
that?
I don't know. It's just been one episode. So
Oh, okay.
all that happens is that they tried to make money the first time, but they fail because they're not in sync with their talents and whatnot. Because they're not
Okay,
a
yeah.
group yet.
Yeah,
Then
yeah,
they
yeah,
meet
yeah. That's
the
very
main
standard.
protagonist. They solve one of his problems, and I guess they gain a memory chip or something that like allows them to work in sync.
What?
I don't know. It's a weird mix of Mega Man X and Zero One happening in here because they meet the main character, right? And he's all, "Oh, my grandfather died, or no, no, my adopted father died, whatnot."
What?
And
Okay.
it's like, okay, man. And they help him with this problem to find, some, I guess, late night or parting gifts from the father. Like, oh, thank you. I thought my father was he hated me and he abandoned me to work on his robots, but it turns out he loved me all along. And then through the power of human tears, they unlock, I guess, their first debut song. I don't know.
Okay.
But I mean, it's pretty obvious that the dude who died is connected to these robots in a way. So I don't know. That's why I'm saying it's kind of like Mega Man X, where it's all, oh, Doctor Light, we found your capsules and we got you these. He left behind power ups for X and his armors and whatnot. So you get what I'm saying here?
Yeah, I mean,
So there's some weird connection between the main character and these robots, but they don't know that yet. So I guess
so
they're gonna work on that while trying to climb the Tower of Babel to find greater purpose, I guess. I don't know.
so do you think that this series is going to fully explain the lore of the entire
No, because it
story?
takes 10 years before the main cast. So that
No, well, oh, so you think that this is, but the thing is, it's like because the anime is then kind of stuck in a bind unless
it is
they
because
end on episode 12. It's just going to be like, oh, we have more adventures later, haha. Unless it does that, right?
I mean, they gotta come
Um,
crashing down, right? Or they have to
they have to win it all or whatever it is, right?
no, they gotta be like, we're going head to head against these dudes, and then they come crashing down somehow.
Okay.
Maybe they crash down because they're all faulty robots. Because in the first episode, they're showing them bumbling around, and then when they crash into each other, their heads fly off.
Hmm.
So I don't know if it's whether it's specifically them, but they're kind of not built pretty well. They're kind of
Like
faulty,
C-3PO kind of thing.
I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because they're first generation androids. Oh,
Oh,
I don't know.
the
Maybe that's the
originals.
twist. But yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know where this anime is going. They already made it super convoluted by reusing the same characters
hmm
and showing that it's a prequel to the main events of the first game.
hmm
So
I think
it,
it's a little bit awkward because it is like, as you said, it's like both a prequel, but it's still it is still going to be a complete anime season, so they're going to need to conclude it somehow. But then they also have to make it so that like the game is going to ultimately hold more value than the anime, right? Like the anime is the anime, but it's ultimately a promotion for the multimedia project, the core of which is essentially the game, right? Which is going to be their main sort of like money producing machine. So my guess is that the story is going to be all explained in the game, plus or minus, like after a couple of like story unlocks or a couple of seasons or whatever it is, right? Um, but the anime also has to fully connect to the game story while also like being a prequel. Yeah, it's definitely a little bit of a
they
tall
definitely wrote
order.
themselves into a corner here by
Yeah, yeah,
reusing the
yeah,
same
yeah,
characters. I get
yeah.
that it's promotion for the game, but like
Yeah.
making it a prequel.
Do you think that? Yeah.
What
Do you think that they should have done it like Shadowverse Flame, where they're just like where they just go like, yeah, we have these characters in like the actual world, and it's not some weird prequel. It's just like we just play the game. You think they should have done that?
they should have just made an adaptation of the game itself because they definitely
Oh, okay, yeah,
this is
that's
an
true.
idol game, right? You got your fancy boy idols and whatnot. So
hmm
you definitely want to promote your voice actors and their singing there, but by making it a 10 years, you're kind of ruining their character development by
Yeah, that's
making it
true.
a 10 years prequel. So they'll definitely forget everything when you
Right.
meet them again in 10 years from now with your protagonist. So, man, I don't know what they're thinking, but I definitely wouldn't have done it this way.
Yeah.
I mean, what am I gonna what am I gonna compare this to? Like, I don't know how to compare this at all to other idol animes. Like, at least with those, that you get a straight adaptation. Like, oh, here's the producer and
Mhm.
like whatnot. But I guess they kind of can't do that because who wants an idol 10 years in the 10 years in the future anyway? They'll be old grannies by then. It's easier to do with handsome boy robots, right? Yeah, I don't know. So visuals, I guess they're fine, but I do have to mention that the singing and dancing parts are obviously 3D, and they're fine, I guess. I
Mhm.
don't. They're par for the course. They're not blowing me away like, oh, this isn't the best CG I've ever seen, but it's fine. It's
Mhm.
good. Songs, they're fine, I guess. Idol songs.
I mean,
They,
yeah. I mean, it's gonna be standard like male idol songs. It's
I
not
don't
really gonna
know.
be.
Yeah, they're fine. I don't have anything against it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah,
Okay.
for a first episode, I definitely see it as being convoluted. And damn, you shouldn't have
I
done it
don't
this
think it's
way.
gonna. I don't think it's gonna improve. That's the main issue, right? So.
I mean, if you're there for for boy bands and their idol songs, then sure, I'll recommend this to you. But I definitely wouldn't be too invested in the story
Yeah.
because the game story would definitely be better than this.
Yeah. I think the. I mean, even I think the anime story and even probably the game story are not gonna be obstacles. I think they're not. They're probably not gonna be the main attraction to the demographic that mainly buys this. Is gonna be my guess. So that's probably what they're kind of. I think that's what they're trying to bank on. So.
But yeah, it's fine. Do I regret watching it? Not really. Sorry.
What would you give it? What mouse score?
Something had to take the first blow because the good stuff hasn't come out yet. That's tomorrow on the 8th. You know what? What score? How many members of Niji Sanji En are out right now?
Probably not that many, right?
It's like 20, right?
Okay.
Wait, hold on.
We're gonna give 20 out of 10.
So let's cut that in half. So I'll give this one a 7 out of 10. I don't hate it, but I'm not particularly too invested in it.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it's fine.
I'm surprised that you did kind of come onto this series and like kind of take it under your wing in the first place. To be honest.
What else did you want me to do? Do you want me to do Omyoji one episode? Okay, guess what? It sucks.
Yeah.
Like,
there's not that many series out right now.
Sekai
So
Nonbiri episode 1. Oh, guess what? That one sucks.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
I picked something out of left field that I normally wouldn't watch. That's something you would watch. Why not?
Okay.
Does it mean do I like the boys over the girls? Not at all.
All right. Well, thank you then, Toast, for your coverage of
I
Technoroid
will
Overmind.
say I would prefer watching this over the Titan's Bride.
I think Titan's Bride is a very low bar. It's a very low bar.
I saw one episode of Titan's Bride and I was like, damn, this is pretty homosexual. Really?
Speaking as somebody who unfortunately had to cover Titan's Bride, I think that's a very low bar.
I mean, I even peeked into the manga the first time. I was like, damn, they're already doing it off the bat.
Anyways, thank you, Toast, for helping cover Technoroid Overmind. This is again a multimedia project set up by Avex Pictures, Cyber Agent, and Elements Garden. And
You know what
this
I've
is just the
noticed?
anime portion of it. Yes.
Most multimedia projects like this are pretty average.
I mean, that's what we've been saying for the past decade.
I think the one that stands out the most really is probably Princess Connect. That's because of the insane.
Yeah,
insane
Princess
fight
Connect
scene.
I heard was pretty good. For the anime.
Because what is it? What's it called now? The Sakuga. Sakuga's next level on Princess Connect.
The Sakugs.
And it's like, damn.
But also, Princess Money did have a lot of money, yeah. But I think it's yeah. Multimedia stuff, the anime portions of it have been pretty average for a long time because I think it's pretty evident to everyone that they just want to get out of promotion and just get it on.
Yeah, obviously, a lot of these are just like general promotions, but I feel like Toast said, a lot of these will try to tell stories that are like completely separate from the game or product that they're like
and
selling,
the struggles,
which I think alienates some people, right? Where, because if you remember,
it's hard though. It's hard
if you remember back the first FGO anime, right? The series of like OVAs they did, it was a story that was like totally different, completely different, and people had no idea like how to even consume this, because it's like, is this even canon? Like, because it has the characters of the game, but none of the events of the game are happening in this series. So it's like, you know, it sort of just becomes this like lost child that you're kind of like, like, okay, like it's kind of just there, you know.
Yeah.
It's very hard. It doesn't really like, because you know, if you like a game and you like a game story, and then an adaptation gets announced, and then it's not the game, it's like, what's like, who's this for? You know what I mean?
I think it's
hey man,
hard.
It could be Grand
because...
Blue, and it could be like, you know, half and half, and in this disgustingly awkward position.
Yeah.
I think it's just hard because I know what you talk about, but it's also like essentially they have two variants, right? And I do think it's not necessarily a matter of them not being creative, but it's like these two variants are more or less what they're stuck on. And so these two variants are one, they create the original story, whether it's like prequel or spin-off, or like they have the whatever characters in a sort of alternate universe timeline or whatever it is, right? They have the original thing. Or two, excuse me. Two, they have the they have it set in the original story, but with like an actual speaking and kind of protagonist going through the story. But the issue is, especially these days, right? What's happening is a lot of gotcha games and like mobile games and like the type of games that are being developed and making money are sort of just, they're gotchas, right? They're character collecting. You just kind of you do the rhythm game and you do the tower defense or you do like, whatever, right? But it's like 99% of the time that's not really the point of the series or the point of the game, right? And so
Yeah.
you have these games where yeah, you have the levels and you have the communes and you have the unlocks, but most of them are kind of disparate character unlocks and stuff like that, right? So you end up with this thing where in the game's story is kind of scattered. It's a Jackson Pollock painting. It is in pieces. There's like a commune over here, and then there's like a sexy boy commune over here, and then there's like a event commune over here, and then there's like a boss unlock over there, and it's like all over the place. So in fact, the game story, or the original setup story itself, is actually very messed up in terms of like, if you try to tell it in any coherent way, right? Like
Yeah.
you can put it in a wiki, but you can't tell a coherent story with it, right? A coherent main story with it. And so they're fucked if they, or not fucked, but it's like once they try to put that into a 12 episode core, a 12 episode season, right? Then the director and the sort of anime staff has the double challenge of both creating a protagonist, a living, breathing protagonist within that world that like acts by himself and makes his own decisions and does stuff in a sensible way, but it's also supposed to be a self-insert, right? And that's already sort of like a problem in itself because like the game's main thing doesn't have anything, right? It's just like it'll like have some like standard lines like, oh, I looked at her with like curiosity or whatever it is, right? But it won't like really go out of it. You like the game's character, the game's protagonist, you won't really go out of your way to say anything super um creative, right? A lot of times
Yeah.
it'll be the same as Ash going like dot 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 in Pokemon. So they have that hurdle, but on top of that, they have the hurdle of collecting all these stupid freaking pieces from the game together to create a 12 episode anime. So while it's not an impossible task, and certainly a lot of people have tried it, it kind of ends up being like, yeah, you tried making the game. So I think it's a catch-22 where they either have to really have to struggle to make this game an anime set within the game with a bunch of scattered lore, or they make that separate anime in an alternate timeline or a prequel or whatever. But then people are just like, okay, this is just like confusing now. Like, is this a spinoff? Like, where are you going with this? Why is this connected? Like, what's happening, right? So it's just, I think at this point, it's a very interesting creative problem, in my opinion, and I think whoever solves it or whoever is the director, whoever ends up being the director that really like chief director that ultimately creates a standard formula for this, right? Will become rich. Like beyond imagination. It will be like a genie in the lamp moment um when they figure it out. But I do think it's a very hard creative problem to solve right now. And I think that the few series that have become above average within the structure. And I think pretty much the only two really are like what? It's like Rage of Bahamut and Precone, right? What
Yeah.
else has been there? Yeah, pretty much everything has been relatively average, right? Um, and even those two series, I think going above and beyond was sort of I don't want to say stroke of luck, but it was like a couple of good things coming together and kind of being in the viewer's eyes at the right moment right? Rather than them having some sort of really special formula, some like magic spark that was much like way above everybody else. It wasn't really like that. It was just like, yeah, Rage of Bahamut was a pretty decent series for some reason, and like
Yeah.
Piccono was a pretty decent series for some reason, but nobody can really tell us what that formula is. So I think we could almost like honestly we could almost do a roundtable on this subject alone because it is very fascinating and it's an almost intersection of the Japanese anime culture that's going on right now as well, where anime is anime. It should be anime as a medium, but it's also very quite clearly being used as a promotional and it's trying to be as cost efficient as possible. So you're trying to make a very cost efficient yet very artistic medium. So very, an interesting problem there
Yeah.
for sure.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
one last thing. I just remembered why I compared it to 01.
Why?
Because there's apparently some darker undertone here.
Mhm.
Because near the end of this, after their concert and whatnot, they get their electric bill money. They find some washed up drunk dude, like I guess on a building, and they're like, "Oh, I used to work at this factory before you robots put me out of business or something." Then some friendly robots come in like, "Okay," some friendly, non-human looking robots come in like, "Okay, you found this dude. We'll take him home." And then the four dudes are like, "I'm kind of worried about that dude. Let's check it. Let's check out the factory where he works." And then when they stumble into the factory, because it's unauthorized or whatnot, they find the dude's hat in a pit of molten metal with the evil robot standing over it. So I don't know. Is this Skynet? Are the human gears going berserk?
Yeah.
Is there some sort of weird dark undertones with this civilization? Because this is a post-apocalyptic society after all.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But with
Skynet.
male idols. Yeah,
I know
Skynet,
it's
but with male idols.
yeah, but who cares? Male idols, right?
Yeah,
Male
bro.
androids. They're keeping the humans busy while the Bender leads a robot revolution or whatever in the background. I don't know, man. Is this why? Is this why they get a factory reset? Because they got too close to the truth and
Gotta
the
stop them. You
upcoming
mean?
yeah the upcoming android versus human war. I don't know. This series is weird. It's going in a weird direction.
Yeah.
Am I
Anyways,
interested in it? Am I gonna keep watching?
are you?
Maybe.
Maybe.
That's a
Okay.
40% yes.
That's better than I hate it. I guess. I mean, it's still better than this
I mean,
series is like mediocre.
I
Screw
do
this.
I do like 01. I do like, but I guess if they're gonna to fight a dance battle at the top of the Tower of Babel to determine the fate of humanity, that's just as cool as a Common Rider battle, I guess.
Okay. Anyways, I guess if that's it, then that was Technoroid Overmind for done by I believe again. Who's the new Dogokobo? Excuse me. We just talked about this. Dogokobo. Surprising pick from them, and it is a
Is it
multimedia
though?
project.
They love their music.
They've done a couple of music series, yeah. So I guess it's not that much of a surprising pick. So Dogokobo, and their contract was given to them, multimedia project under Cyber Agent, Avex Pictures, and Element Garden. Story about male idols trying to climb the top of the tower. Based is a prequel of the game that has, I believe, it has been released, or yeah, it has been released. So, anyways, if you like that sort of male idol singing kind of stuff, the standard shticks, please
At,
do
at,
check it out. Yeah.
at least it definitely has a more interesting shtick than most other male idol stuff that's
Yeah,
been out.
where most
Like,
male idol shows are just like we're gonna sing. Like this is
like
really
we're gonna sing on stage and become the best idols. At least this one's post-apocalyptic androids.
so yeah, post-apocalyptic.
Honestly, I will take that over regular idol stuff. And you got to fight to win at the top of the Tower of Babel. Damn.
I
It's
see.
just
I
like
see.
Persona. Persona 3, right? Near Persona 3? Or was
What?
it or is it Nocturne? Was it
For-
Persona 3 the Tower of Babel?
Persona 3 had Tartarus.
Isn't that the Tower of Babel? Or
Uh,
am I thinking of freaking
technically,
Catherine?
yeah, Catherine had Babel.
Yeah.
Catherine,
Yeah.
okay. They're all Atlas works. They're in the same universe.
Yeah. Anyways, that was Technoroid Overmind from Toast. And now we have, last but not least, Nier. What is your series?
Yeah, so I watched Revenger.
Not to be confused
Is
with
this
Tokyo
Tokyo? Yeah,
Revengers.
is this Tokyo
Yeah.
Revengers?
Yeah, it's not Tokyo Revengers. This is Revenger singular.
Yeah.
Except
No
there are
no one will remember that.
multiple Revengers in the show.
Also, there's
Um,
a 2018 film called Revenger, but
yeah,
that's
yeah.
also different. Yeah.
This is a Nitro Plus, Gen Urobuchi.
Nitro Plus?
Yes.
Is this
I
original?
like
This is Nitro
stuttered.
Plus. This is main studio produced Ajiado.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, this is
Ajiado,
a Gen
known for doing
Urobuchi project.
Isekai Mao Toshokan Shoujo, the summon demon lord or whatever it is. They did
Yep.
Kakushigoto as well. And they did
Kimono
Bookworm.
Kimono Jihen.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
This is
Yes.
directed by Masaya Fujimori, who also did Kimono Jihen. Yeah, he worked on Isekai Mao.
Okay.
You said Gen Urobuchi, right? I've never heard
Yes,
of this
so
guy.
this
What
is-
has he done?
Script, original creation, and series composition by the one and only Gen Urobuchi. You may have heard of him. He's the man behind Psychopaths,
Kamen Rider
Madoka.
Gaim.
The only good Fate anime?
The first episode,
That is kind of true.
the first episode of I'll Know Zero, and
Thunderbolt
Fate Zero.
Fantasy? Thunderbolt
well,
Fantasy,
And also,
sir?
yeah, also Thunderbolt Fantasy. A man of many talents, yes, and also the officially licensed Equilibrium fan fiction,
Oh my
published by
God.
Nitro Plus. But yeah,
God
so
damn
this
it.
is a, I guess action, like mystery action series.
Yes.
The main premise is our main character, Kurima Raizo, has just basically done an assassination on behalf of his lord, because he's a samurai, and the person he just killed is his father-in-law. And the reason he
Okay.
did the assassination is he was told that his father-in-law is essentially partaking in the opium trade with foreigners. And so he kills his father-in-law, and he feels really bad about it. And then he talks to this guy, Usui Yuen, who is another one of our main characters. And he says, I feel bad about that. And Usui goes, okay, go away, essentially. And he's like, okay, thanks for listening to me. And then as he's traveling back to, I guess his, castle or whatever, he gets ambushed, and it essentially is revealed that he's been betrayed, and he's been lied to. He gets shot. He jumps into a river. He gets saved by Usui and crew, and they essentially reveal themselves to be effectively assassins. They do quote unquote odd jobs, and one of their clients was actually Raizo's father-in-law, because he was investigating the opium trade. He wasn't actually, partaking in it. And then they ask for Raizo's help to essentially kill the lord that Raizo was working for. He agrees, but he tricks Usui and the others, so that way he can kill the lord himself. And then the episode ends.
Okay.
But yeah, so the first episode is basically just a rough introduction of the characters. It doesn't really introduce many of the characters. It mostly just introduces Raizo and Usui. The other characters in like the crew which are like the Shota dude, Soji, who's like Gambit. He fucking throws like cards and it kills people. And some like ninja dude with glasses. They aren't really introduced. They're kind of just there, which I
So,
found kind of
can I-
I found kind of cool because it's like obviously if you're being sort of hired to do a job, you're not going to be introduced to every character around you, right?
Okay.
But yeah.
Can I ask just a very quick question about the setting? Is this like Edo? Because you mentioned both samurais and guns. I'm guessing this is like Edo period, Tokugawa Ieyasu kind of stuff, longer in samurai
So they
feudal, or like
so they
what's the setting?
say that the Warring States period is over, like it's over.
Okay.
So this is like at the end of the Warring States. But yeah,
Yeah, so it's like 1600
still-
onward ish.
yeah, it's still like the time of samurai, but they're
Mhm.
essentially being phased out.
Okay.
But yeah.
Alright.
I'm also not sure if this is really going for like
Historical
like a
accuracy.
historically
Yeah.
accurate thing, because
It's because
there was
yeah.
there was one shot of like the horizon, and there was like this huge like medieval looking castle, and I was like,
Yeah.
huh? Like that's not Japanese.
Yeah. So there's actually there's a section in the Wikipedia page for this, the English Wikipedia page for this called production. And by the way, you probably won't get this like production section in like most series that aren't like Gen Urobuchi related, but Urobuchi Gen fans are freaks, so they made this section.
Of course.
And so I'm going to read this. The series is meant to show both Western and Eastern culture, according to director Fujimori Masaya, while the style is meant to give the idea of quote unquote cool.
I
Urobuchi Gen
love that, man.
writer Urobuchi Gen wrote it with the hope that it will properly appeal to the audience. God, whoever wrote this Wikipedia page is really, anyways, with the hope that it would properly appeal to the audience based on the several concepts he came across, across, whatever.
Yeah.
Since getting involved in the project, sorry, give me a second. Yeah, tricky plot twist. Yeah, so it kind of seems like okay. So speaking from Fujimori's own experience with media from his early days, he's trying to recreate the experience of watching period dramas and criminal dramas that aired during the Showa era, and update the experience for the present time because of
Showa
looser
era, like-
regulations.
Like
Yeah,
Zatoichi the Blind Swordsman. I saw that movie. It's pretty
yeah,
cool.
stuff like that. Because of looser regulations, new cinema and macaroni western programs that aired on television back then were full of surprises, and audiences did not know what would happen next. So yeah, God, this is literally just like a copy and paste of some random interview.
Yeah,
But
probably.
so
yeah,
near.
so it kind of feels like it's just like the director as well as Urobuchi didn't really care, and they just kind of tried to throw in some stuff. But
yeah,
it
they're
kind
not
of
really going for historical
yeah.
accuracy. I think they're just going for rule of cool.
Samurai with guns. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like
Which is fine.
there's samurai. There's gonna be
Period drama.
Westerners.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Giant
like it's
enemy
just gonna be,
crab.
yeah, I don't think they're gonna do like supernatural stuff really. Although they might. I don't know. They haven't really indicated anything like that. There's no real hints of that in the first episode.
No fancy supernatural powers yet.
No, not yet. The most like out there thing is the Shota character. Neo, I think his name is. He uses a
Neo.
like kite string as a weapon. And then the other dude, the white haired dude, Usui, he's like, it's actually very interesting because they do this thing obviously where they sort of introduce all the characters' fighting styles, right, as they sort of attack the castle or whatever. And Usui, I'm not really sure what his attack was. So he has this like gold film kind of thing, right? And it's about the size of his hand, and he slaps it on this dude's face, and it gets like stuck to his face, and he like can't breathe, right? So he effectively puts like a plastic bag over this dude's head, and then he kind of just stands there and like prays to like Saint Maria or whatever.
What?
So he's like Catholic or something, which is kind of cool. He's got like this sweet back tattoo. But yeah, the dude kind of just suffocates. So I'm not really sure that's like his fighting style or if that's just like something they wanted to show that like he has. Yeah, it's very very odd. But yeah,
I thought when you said you were gonna like they put the like bag over him, I thought he was gonna like go full like Denzel Washington action
no,
movie and
kind of
just
just
like,
like
"Ugh."
he kind of just stands there as the dude like flails around because he can't
Yeah.
see, he can't breathe, and then he kind of just dies.
Okay.
It's really weird because like
But you mean
yeah,
near
it's
his
very
ki?
odd because
Near, it's called a ki, and it's very important in martial
yeah,
arts.
but like so he puts it on his face, right? And he can't breathe for a while, and then all of a sudden he looks like a zombie. Like he just like rapidly dehydrates or something, and then he collapses. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Maybe they'll
So
explain
that part
later,
is,
but
I guess, supernatural.
it could be. I'm not sure. I don't know if it's just like a really weird way of depicting somebody like strangling.
Getting
Um,
revenge.
but yeah. Um,
Mhm.
He's
yeah.
a revenger, Near. He got
It-
revenged.
this series is very much like Rule of Cool.
Yeah,
Like
just like things happening. It's fine.
yeah,
Yeah.
like at the end of the episode, when Raizo
Is this like, by the way, is this like a monster of the, because I think this is also kind of important to the structure. Is this like a monster of the episode, monster of the week kind of thing?
I'm not
Is
100% sure.
There's
I
only
have
one episode out, right?
yeah, there's only one episode. It kind of feels like that with the first episode because they
Yeah.
wrap up like the first job, and then I assume
Because this
Raizo,
probably works best with a monster of the week kind of structure.
yeah, or
right?
like mini arcs or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, like because the first episode is effectively just like introduction of the general like world and characters, and then they do like the first job, and then sort of Raizo is implied to be like, you know, they're gonna like scout him basically.
Wow, just like the beginning of a Kamega Kill.
Yeah, but yeah, like at the end of the episode when Raizo like kills the lord he was working for, he like it's really cool, but it sounds really dumb when I like describe it. He like moves at like the fucking speed of sound, and he does like this sonic boom behind him, and then he like cuts him in
What?
half,
Heck yeah.
and then
That's pretty cool.
he cuts him in half, and then he does like, you know, the Resident Evil movie, like the laser hallway where they slowly like fall apart.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
you could
yeah,
also literally
do
say that was also what's his name shit in Chainsaw Man just now too.
yeah, yeah.
Fittingly so.
But
Katana
yeah.
Man.
but yeah, they're very much going for like cool.
Yeah, that's, which is again fine. Yeah.
Yeah. The overall, it's definitely a much better first impression of this series than I thought it was going to be. Because, like, you know, when we were covering this in the previews, it looked stupid, right? Like it looked really dumb. I really thought this was going to kind of just be like another like edgy version of that one series I covered that was like the fake Shinsengumi or whatever with the magical swords.
Oh, yeah, with the weird hair. Yeah.
Yeah, I really thought it was kind of just gonna be another one of those where it's just like all the characters are just really dumb archetypes.
But don't worry, Nair, it's because it's Gen Urobuchi. He writes
Yeah,
realistic characters, just like
yeah. I will say like they are a lot more toned down than I expected them to be.
Mhm.
The main character isn't quite as broody as I thought it was gonna be, although that could change
What do
very
you mean by it
quickly.
not being as? You mean like not having like constant like internal monologues and stuff like that, or like?
He's not like whatever. Like you
Yeah,
know, he's not like
yeah,
he's not
okay.
one of those.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
he very
He doesn't
obviously
crack jokes all the time, but it's like he's
yeah, like
also not like
he very obviously
moody. Yeah.
cares about like, you know, uh being a samurai and like having honor and like, you know, doing what's right.
Yes.
But he's not flippant. He's not like, you know, for a spiky haired samurai that's dressed in fucking black and red, you know,
Mhm.
like you sort of get a mental image of what that character sort of behaves like, but he doesn't, surprising.
Yeah.
so Near. Who would win in a fight? Him or Batosai?
Um I don't know, probably Batosai.
But
But yeah.
It's Ki Near.
But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, it's a good first impression. But in terms of like where it could go, I mean, it's Urobuchi. It could go literally anywhere, right? And
It could honestly go fall. By the way, when I almost said Toast, Nier is saying that he's not joking. This guy, like this guy, the main character, he gets screwed in the ass in like first 3 episodes. Like Neo could get screwed in the ass in the first. Like who
yeah,
knows
I
with
mean, like
Urobuchi?
for all we know, Urobuchi leaves this project next episode. Right? Like,
yeah, the Aldo Zero
yeah, like
Classic.
he has done it before. So
Wait, I forget. Did he do that with Recreators? I forget. I feel
don't-
like no, he wasn't involved in Recreators. It was the Aldo. It was the Troika. It was just the rest of the
yeah,
Troika
it was
team
just
that was involved.
Troika.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Sorry. Yeah.
I will say, just as a last bit, like for a story, the biggest red flag of this series for sure is the very end of episode 1. The main character sees his wife commit suicide. So
Okay.
yeah, that could just really nosedive what was initially set up for the main character, but hopefully
I mean,
not.
the thing is, it's
Um,
still not that surprising because it's Urobuchi. But
Yeah.
like, where Urobuchi goes with this is the bigger part,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, for
I
sure.
think honestly, if Urobuchi really sticks to this philosophy that he and the director agreed on, which is like the rule of cool, just like sticking to that, being a little bit more episodic, being a little bit more tight on the reins, right? I think it'll be honestly fine. But what I'm afraid of is more than just like it being cheesy and rule of cool. I think if it does that, it's fine. But you know how Gen Urobuchi likes to be a little bit more grandiose, right?
Yeah.
And character regardless of how, I mean, first off, there some of the character developments that he creates suffers under when he starts to wax grandiose, wax eloquent. But I think also if he does that in this series, it's not going to fit it as much as him just doing cheesy stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll probably have to watch out for that. Audio visuals. What do you think about it?
They're solid, they're serviceable. Nothing really looks bad. They're not like amazing or anything.
Right.
Yeah, the action was decent. The backgrounds are pretty nice actually. The characters, I mean, they all move fluidly. The designs are pretty cool in my opinion. But yeah, overall, I think it's pretty solid.
And I think
doing,
Ajay-Do, yeah,
yeah,
when
they're
when
doing
they
pretty good
needed to
work.
pull in, yeah, it's not like, I mean, like, sure that they've done stuff like Kakushigoto or whatever, right? Like small, like more quieter series. I think a couple of smaller series that have required action, like Kimono Jihen or Isekai
Yeah.
Maoto Shokan Shoujo, stuff like that. They have, and I think Izetta had some pretty good scenes
Yeah,
as well,
yeah.
right? Like the flying scenes were pretty freaking good.
Yeah.
They've pulled it out when they needed to, so yeah, pretty good.
So it definitely looks solid. But yeah, I think overall it's definitely something to keep an eye on. If you're a fan of samurais, God knows
It's
we don't
doing
have
cool
enough.
stuff,
We don't
yeah.
have enough samurai anime.
Bro, we need more sword characters.
How many
But,
how many Sengoku period things has Urobuchi done already? It's the
The thing
second
is,
or the third?
he probably he I think had, I don't know whether he's ever mentioned it in his interviews or anything like that, but he does have a hankering for these sorts of period dramas, right? Else he wouldn't have done something
Yeah.
like Thunderbolt Fantasy.
Yeah.
So this is what, 3?
Probably at least 2 or 3, right?
Yeah.
If not more. But I'm not sure because a lot of again, I don't think was Muramasa under Urobuchi? Muramasa was Muramasa Nitropus, right? It wasn't a 5PB, mean? Or was it one of the
Yeah, but
collabs or what?
I don't think that was Urobuchi. I think that was somebody.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah, that was Nature Plus.
Gaim,
but
Gaim is a period drama. You can't get over
Check.
that.
and it
Then-
says, yeah.
So is this.
Yeah.
Did he do Cabaneri? I don't think he did Cabaneri, right?
No.
Yeah, no.
Is
But yeah.
Madoka a period drama?
It's more dramatic than one. It has more like random twists than
Hold
the
on.
period drama.
Nier
Sure.
is Fate Zero, a period drama. Period of 1980. Right? 1980, right?
I think so. Yeah. I guess not really. Like, there's not
1990.
really much about like the period, like the time outside of like just the general aesthetics, really.
And also,
1990,
and I think Fate Zero is a lot less like
1995. Damn, I was
bum
wrong.
bum like suddenly surprised like
Yeah.
duh like that. Like,
I mean, it's also very like Fate's story is very sort of disconnected from like the normal world, right? So
yeah. Anyways, any last words on Revenger?
not really. Again, I think it's something definitely worth keeping an eye
What's your
on.
rating?
For episode 1, I mean, I'd probably give it a solid 8. I think
Okay.
it was pretty good.
So you're saying this is the best first episode of any Gen Urobuchi produced anime ever, huh?
To be fair, that's not that high of a bar, right?
I don't know, man.
Isn't it?
I've seen one that was pretty good. And Nier knows the one I'm talking about.
I mean, Fate Zero's first episode is really strong. I
Yeah,
think.
40 minutes.
Yeah.
Right?
I think. I mean, I actually don't remember what Psychopath's like first episode had. I should probably rewatch Psychopath. But I mean, overall, I don't know how you'd really top Fate Zero, but this is a good first
That's
episode
fair.
for sure.
That's fair.
Is again, this is Revenger, done by Ajido, and I believe the original idea came from Gen Urobuchi slash Nitro Plus working on it, and so kind of period drama inspired, but it's supposed to have sort of West and East elements, you know, just kind of cool samurai guns, like a little bit of supernatural stuff, just people running around, lopping off heads, doing whatever, being angry, being loud, stuff like that. So yeah, if you like all of that, please do check it out. Electromess says psychopaths. The psychopaths? Was psychopaths Urobuchi?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I keep forgetting that Psychopaths is actually Urobuchi, but I should have realized that.
He
Yeah.
was the original creator, I believe.
Is Psychopaths okay? So my question is Psychopaths now a more like Gaim aside, right? Is Psychopaths more of a representation of Urobuchi and his like overall thing than like Sayonouta is? What is his most representative work? I almost think again this could also be like a side
I would say
cast.
Madoka.
You think Madoka is really?
I would think so.
Oh
mean,
yeah, I guess. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I can
I
see
mean,
that.
I'm not really a fan of Madoka, so it's like
Yeah. No. That's
Yeah.
not. Yeah, that wasn't the question. I was just asking. Like, if you,
yeah, but
if you're
in
like,
terms
okay,
of like what
boom.
I think most people associate like Gen or Urobuchi with, it would
Yes.
be either Madoka or Fate Zero.
Yes.
Because
yes.
I believe
Yeah.
Madoka is really kind of like the series that gave him the Urobuchi like title. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Fucking.
I
That guy.
love episode 3
What
of
a
Yeah.
Madoka.
So
Yeah. Anyways, again, that was Revenger singular.
yeah, singular.
Do not search Revengers because that is Tokyo. You'll get Tokyo Revengers, and also don't search Revenger film because then that's the I believe it's a South Korean film or something like that.
Yeah.
Anyways, thank you, Nier, for covering it. I do think this is a very interesting series. I'll probably be checking it out pretty shortly. But yeah, that is our all of our reviews for today. One of 5. We're going to have 5, including this one for the winter 2023 season. So just keep an eye out. And we're going to go straight into the news. Not too much news today, I guess, or these past couple of weeks. Even like I like search legit the entire like last like all of December, like up to like the end of November and stuff like that. There wasn't that much. It was pretty quiet. Obviously, there was a lot of people passed away. A lot of people would miss. Uh, there's like a huge like bucket list. It was very unfortunate, but other than that, there wasn't like a lot of like company news and stuff like that. So at least that's good. There also wasn't that many, cause like what usually happens at the end of December and at the beginning of January with like the new year is that a bunch of like famous people, usually like female voice actresses and stuff like that, who have usually been keeping on the down low, usually tend to like announce their marriages, right? That they've
Yeah.
gotten like married or like pregnant or whatever at the beginning of the year or like at the very end of December. So I was kind of expecting that, but surprisingly not pretty much like nobody, no news on those things. So pretty out not abnormal, but unexpected. But most of the news stuff that we have right now is numbers related. So このライトノベルがすごい. So this is the Sports Illustrated of Japanese anime light novel culture. It's like a very casual, very normie level, like just you're going across the bookstore and you kind of see this kind of thing guidebook and you're like, I don't know anything about light novels or manga or anime. What are good anime or whatever to pick? So that's sort of the level it's working on. And so they released their uh, guidebook of the top light novel series, I believe, from the past, I guess, year, right? It's the 2023 edition, but it's, I guess, covering the last year. So right now it is the Bunkobon rankings. So this is it's like per like volume kind of stuff. This is Classroom of the Elite Year 2. Chitose-kun is in the Ramune bottle. Oh, I actually want to read this for a while. 私はあなたの涙になりたい, or I want to be your tears, or I want to become your tears, whatever. The Angel Next Door Spoils Me Rotten. That's, I believe, anime this season, right? Aria sometimes hides her feelings in Russian. I believe that's also getting an anime pretty soon. Ryu Goroshi no Brunhild. Brunhild the Dragon Slayer. 私、2番目の彼女でいいから. I'm fine with being the second girlfriend. What the fuck did I just read? Sometimes, like, just in case you guys don't know, I said this a couple times on occasion. When I'm reading stuff, like, just like kind of speeding this fast, I don't process what I'm reading. I just read it, and then I'm just like, okay, what's going on? And this is, anyways, Spy Classroom, Days with My Stepsister, and The Detective is Already Dead. I believe that's the mystery series or the detective series a couple of seasons back. Tankobon
Is
novel
it
rankings.
Detective Mo Shinderu the one sung by Kagura Nana ED?
Yeah, I believe so. Yes.
Good.
Some other Tankobon novel rankings. Ascendance of a Bookworm, Dalian Bloom, Yushake ni Shos, Silent Witch, Mushoku Tensei, Jobless Reincarnation, 恋した人は妹の代わりに死んでくれの言った。Sasuke and Peeps, 薬の魔物の階級理由、Overlord, and 天聖霊女と好きな人生を and new title rankings. These kind of look pretty good. Except not really. But one is 私はあなたの涙になりたい. That's the new title ranking. Again, Byugorushi no Brunhild, Watashi ni Bama. Okay, so most of these are pretty much the same thing. So yeah, most of these have been updated on the guidebook. If you want to check them out, they're probably online or something like that. But yeah, and this Konorai Right Nobiru Kasugoi is essentially a Sports Illustrated version of like light novel recommendations.
If that's the Sports Illustrated version, which one is the Playboy version of it?
Fuck. You're right. We need to find that version, honestly.
Doesn't Playboy not do the things anymore? It's just articles now?
Probably.
Like they don't show
I mean, it's probably not been a revenue generating stream for quite a while, right? But yeah. Anyways, they also released some manga rankings, and some of these look okay, I think.
Where's Chainsaw Man?
Yeah. So the top 20 on this list of manga for male readers are The Summer Hikaru Died, Goodbye Eddie, Takopi's Original Sin, Akare Banashi, Gekiko Kamen, Kore Kaite Shine,スーパーの裏で矢にすう二人. This sounds like a super slow kind of thing. One Piece, You and I are polar opposites. 緑の歌、収集軍風。生活保護特区のおでよ。くじも歌えば、家ほろろ。日本三国。 Fool Knight, Demons of the Shadow Realm, Suminigori, Yoki na Yatsura, Nabi ni Dangen o Ukenagara, Hidayasumi, and Golden Kamuy. The top 20 on its list for manga for female readers are Tenmaku no Jaduga, A Witch's Life in Mongol. What is this? This honestly sounds like something I would read. I'm not gonna lie. Jean Bride, Serious Officer. Bro, these titles fucking suck compared to like the male, like these male, like the male reader ones, like sound like regular like stuff, and these all just like serious office worker, like like bride, whatever. Like, come on, guys. This is what I mean by this guidebook being the Sports Illustrated of like light novel guide stuff. By the way, 女の子がいる場所
Do
は
you think any of us read Sports Illustrated? How would you know?
well, you know, a long time ago, when you were in like in the dentist's office, Star Tripper, 海が走るエンドロ、ブスなんて言わないで、太陽より眩しい星。多分くん今どっち私たちは6つ売れない。私たちは6つ売れないがしたい。In the clear moon dusk, 花よだんと一緒。恋じゃねえから。My girlfriend's child, マダムたちのルームシェア、ややこしいみかんたち。Though I am an inept villainess, fashion, マートのロリ、and 初恋ザラリ。So if you want to check this out again, I believe they do have a list, both obviously on this article here, as well as online. So you can probably just check those out. So just search like Kono Manga Kaisukoi, manga 2023 rankings, and you'll be able to find them. Top selling light novels in Japan by volume. First ranked is Suzume no Tochimari novel. Again, that's the Makoto Shinkai movie that's been released. It's the light novel adaptation of that. Surprise. Overlord 16, because Overlord takes like 5 years to come out, you know, whatever. At least not as bad as Infinite Stratos, right? Where it's like the last volume took like 9 years to come out or whatever. But 16 did finally come out. That time I got reincarnated as a slime, Slime Tensei 19, Overlord 15, and Licorice Recall Ordinary Days. I believe this is the Licorice Recall spin-off here. So obviously carried on by that. The 5 series overall that printed out the most physical copies. By the way, again, this is sales of physical copies. This does not cover copies like digital copies that were viewed online, like for instance, Alpha Police and some other places offer subscription services and like kind of like where you can buy coins to view light novel volumes. So it doesn't necessarily count those like digital copy kind of things. It only counts physical copies. So these numbers could be a bit off. But the number one franchise is Slime Tensei. That time I got reincarnated as a slime. Classroom of the Elite, Year 2. Overlord, Classroom of the Elite. And Alia
Year
sometimes
one?
Yeah, the first one. And Alia sometimes hides her feelings in Russian. So this one,
that Russian one's pretty good. I like that one.
yeah, this one's coming up really like just hot on the heels of like this is almost as big as what was last year's like hotness? I forget. There was like one last year that was like really freaking like doing well.
What,
But
hot Russian?
no, like hot like up and coming light novel franchise. But yeah, this one is definitely becoming super popular recently. But yeah, some numbers there. This one I kind of want to introduce the next piece of news because I thought it was kind of interesting kind of thing. So Japanese distributor Mediado, Tezuka Production, and South Korean comic company Kopi Communications launched the Japanese South Korean vertical scrolling webcomic remake of Osamu Tezuka's classic Dororo manga on Wednesday. The webcomic is titled Dororo Reverse with Lee Do-kyung penning the script and storyboards. So it's both available on like Japanese and South Korean platforms and is setting up for global release. And what I think is interesting about this is like there's a huge booming webcomic industry, like people making millions of dollars and just like making webcomics and stuff like that and affording like penthouses in South Korea, as well as obviously a flourishing like cell phone novel and like kind of like general sort of like that webcomic-ish thing in China as well. And meanwhile, there's a bunch of like I guess manga material, original material, right? Set up in Japan, whether it's from anime, whether it's light novels, whether it's web novels, all this older material, all this manga material that might not get is a little bit harder for Japanese artists to continue to support just because how strenuous the Japanese manga industry is, right? And even just the anime industry in general. And so what I think might be happening in the future is honestly more collaborations like this, right? Where, for instance, if the Japanese anime industry kind of shifts over more into shorter manga, making anime adaptations, focusing more people just kind of spilling into drawing stuff for light novels or web novels and splitting it between that and then just like making light novels and stuff like that. And then that industry kind of works with the Korean web novel, or sorry, the webcomic industry, right? To create these lengthier, bigger web comics when they want to, when they have the money. I think it would be an interesting model in the future to see, and I think this shows definitely the signs of it. So I'm kind of looking forward to this, to be honest. Although maybe not like this series in particular, like weird Douryou spin-offs. I'm not necessarily looking forward to that, but I'm looking more forward to these sorts of collaborative models in the future for sure. And the last piece of news, what is this? Oh yeah, I don't really want to talk about this, but it's like Idolmaster is doing VTubers, guys. It's fucking stupid.
Wow.
It's not gonna work because they're gonna put a lot of money into these VTubers, and the point of VTubers, other than the like expensive like models or whatever, is like not to spend money in the first place. The fact that VTubers don't cost a lot of production in terms of production, other than the fact that the 3D models are getting like more and more expensive, right? Like the last time I heard, like more like fancy models cost anywhere from like what $3,000 to $8,000 or some bullshit like that, right? Like some ridiculous amount of money, right? But yeah, I don't think this is gonna succeed, but Idolmaster Bandai Bamco is trying to get on that VTuber train, haha. But yeah. Anyways, that's it for the news here. And we are going to head right on over to callouts and shoutouts. So this is again oh wait, no, this is our first callouts and shoutouts of the new year, and everybody here gets one shoutout, one callout each. Callout is something that you want to rant about. 1 star out of 5, 0 stars out of 10. Something that you're super angry about and just want to hate on. Can be any one person, place, or things. When you one person, place, or thing. And shout out is the exact opposite, something that you want to praise, 5 out of 5. Shout to the heavens, beam upon kindly, and it can be any one person, place, or thing. I guess I'll start off and shout out to I guess the people who gave me recommendations for games in the past couple of weeks that I was just kind of trying to go through some interesting games and like RPGs and see what kind of clicked with me.
What have you been playing?
What?
What have you been playing?
I played Pillars of Eternity 2 a little bit. I played Disco Elysium. I played Old School RuneScape. I played some like random like strategy game stuff. I kind of found out that like I don't mind.
How's Elden Ring?
I actually haven't played that yet. I need to play it, but I don't like when I look at the story and stuff like that. I don't mind like seeing the story and so on. But finish them all, I can't do that. I'm like starting on a new project, bro. I can't do that. I don't mind like looking at the story and stuff like that. But the types of games that I end up liking in RPGs, at least these days, with my sort of current temperament and mood, is just like I just want to whack stuff, get materials, rinse, repeat, like a whole almost like a Mon Hunt kind of thing. Just like let me whack stuff. Give me the stuff. Give me levels. All right, let me whack more stuff. That's pretty much it. But yeah. Anyways, that's my shout out. My call out or to people who gave me the recommendations. But my call out is Eminence in Shadow. I think Eminence in Shadow is really just That along with what I was talking about, my worst anime of the year of 2022, right? I always talk about like Harem in Labyrinth of the Another World or whatever. Stuff like this. And I think Eminence and Shadow also represents one of the worst like um demons, the worst like temptations of the anime industry, where the story, the setup, whatever it's like, um, whatever it's aggravating, right? Whatever sort of fetishes and symptoms of the anime fan base that it's aggravating, it doesn't matter. And all it's doing is just like anything to make money, right? And it's just like the way Eminence and Shadow is made original story wise, the way it was sold, just where they just chucked every single, current A tier pretty girl voice actress online to the female cast, just being like, oh, by the way, we have these cute female voice actresses, your favorite voice actresses acting out this cast, just come and see us. And then the voice being crap, or the story is being crap, excuse me, the anime is still being crap. And then on top of that, the mobile game coming out in such quick succession right after the anime in order to capitalize on this sort of thing, and just like the voice actresses and just the stupid mobile game, like, oh, we have all these girls in the anime, bro, stuff like that. It was just very tiresome to watch. And I think it just kindles and aggravates the worst instincts, the worst type of people, the worst motivations for watching anime. And I really don't want this sort of anime to become the norm, where you might ask again, like you might ask me like, oh, but you like watched, something like To Love Ru or like Rosario Vampire or like a billion other like harem series. Why are you, dunking on Eminence and Shadow? And the difference is really the degree of like just sellout, right? And I'm not sitting first off, I've never sat here and been like, yeah, bro, like harem series, we could learn so much from them. Like that's not really what I've said. Although I've said that harem is a viable tool in a literary setting for some of these animes. But the fact that Eminence and Shadow is so openly being like the way we're gonna market, the way we're gonna produce this anime, the way we're gonna try to push this mediocre story up everybody's asses is with this, like with XYZ, with the game, with the voice actors and so on, with all this crap, is really disheartening to me. And I just think that sort of thing should be discouraged. But yeah. That's my shout out call out. And more evidence that Spire doesn't like women in anime. Come on, man. I'm just like batting away. I'm on the Sigma grind step right now. I'm just like batting away all these female women voice actresses. But yeah, that's my shout out call out. Next, Nier. What about you? Shout out call out, please.
I'm probably gonna call out Shadowverse. Yeah, the expansion release was really bad. Like I don't know if you saw the video I posted in the Card Games channel, just like how fucked up that deck is, but yeah, it's fucked up. Other than that, shoutouts, I guess, to I don't know, my Gacha luck was pretty cool. Pretty cool getting 3 SSRs like almost back to back in Faker and Order.
Hey,
It's pretty
fuck
cool.
you, buddy.
Yeah, but yeah, that's about it.
Okay. Toast. Shout out call, please.
I shout out. I guess I'll shout out. I'll shout out Otto and Eimer. Why not? I'll go for twofer.
Okay.
I saw Otto's stream. Pretty cool. When she was reacting to Usewa, she hated it. And Odo, she hated that too. She hates herself, Rose. She's just like me.
I'm not sure if
Also,
I've.
Eimer for doing, I guess, another Eimer song. Why not? Escalate's pretty cool. Automatically makes it best opening this season.
Okay.
Call out? I don't know. I'm gonna call out. What's it called? Yeah, what's that thing called?
What?
What's that thing called? I'm gonna call out the Canadian labor shortage. Yeah.
Okay.
What?
You ever heard of the Canadian labor shortage?
No.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, not near Spire. Near,
Mm.
of course, near knows.
As in, like, is this like a bigger, like, is this like a Canadian version of like the general labor shortage across the world,
Pretty
or like?
much, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't have anything to call out. I've been
Yeah,
good, so I'll call
that's
out.
fine.
I'll call out. I'll pour one out for you, Near.
Okay.
All right. What about? Okay, thank you very much, Toast. Last but not least, what about you, Dark? Dark?
Hmm.
Call
Yeah,
it, shout out, call,
I
please.
am going to. I'm gonna shout out Hachikado.
Okay,
That series
fine.
is that series.
Who's your favorite
That's a
character?
good series. Probably Momo.
That's fair.
Approved.
But yeah, that series is really fun. So
Okay, pretty good.
yeah, damn shame I didn't really do a whole lot with it when
Yeah,
it came out.
again.
It was just kind
I
of like the
think.
first episode doesn't
Oh,
really do it. I mean, it's good, but it's not like the first episode is not enough to really capture what you're gonna get up to.
Also, again, I'll say, like, if anybody outside of like the nerdiest of nerds was to tell me, like, oh yeah, I totally like went through all of Machikata Masaku when it came out, I would call them a liar, like, right on the spot. So, I don't think, I think it's very
Spire, who's
yeah.
your favorite character in Machikata Mazuku?
Bro, I don't remember any of the characters in that
Is
fucking
it also
series.
Momo?
Let me see this. I don't remember, like, freaking. Oh yeah, it's definitely Momo. Yeah.
Yeah, hey Spire, guess what?
Yeah, what?
Pink hair.
Hey, fuck you, buddy.
And there's
Uh,
nothing wrong with pink. Oh, and her name is Momo.
yeah, that
and
too.
green eyes too. Oh man.
God. All right. Anyways, uh, so that was wait, you didn't do your
Yeah, I
call out
did
though,
my
actually.
shout out. I did not do my call out yet. I think for my call out probably be uh
How's the New York weather?
it's been fine. It's been kind of bipolar though. Been kind of all over the place. Yeah. I think I'm gonna call. Oh, that's what I'll call. I'll call out fucking Weathering Waves for not and Zenless Zone Zero for both like dropping trailers and shit like early last year and then being like, haha, we still don't have a release date though. Like even a guesstimate release date. There's nothing. Pretty cool shit.
Yeah.
I would also call out Honkai Star Rail, but I don't give a fuck about Honkai Star Rail, so that's another one where they're like, "Hey guys, we're doing a new game and it's not coming out." Okay.
All right. Well, again, thank you, Dark, for your shout and call out. And with that, we have wrapped up our official first review of 2023. Again, the first part of our Winter 2023 season reviews. We're going to be doing 4 more of these for the Winter 2023 season, and that plus the previous season should take us all the way to the end properly. So again, if you guys have any suggestions for what we should cover in this Winter 2023 season, there's a decent amount of stuff spread around. So If you do have any suggestions, please do recommend us a series that we might be able to cover. And if you like what we do, we stream our podcast every other Saturday, starting from 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over at twitch.tv/4PlayAnimecast. That's with the normal 4, where we talk about the latest and greatest in Japanese animation, media, anime, manga, light novels, web novels, visual novels, and so much more. Check us out our live recordings on our VOD here, as well as on YouTube, whichever format you desire. We're going to have updates on our social media from our Facebook, 4PlayerAnimecast, as well as on Twitter, handle at 4PBAnimecast. Again, all with the numeral 4. And as always, we'll see you next time.